Well, hello everybody, and thank you for waiting. It's just after 2 o'clock on Friday, March 15th. It's the Ides of March if you're here with us streaming, and if not, well, thanks for watching us on the YouTubes. And I think that I don't want to wait another second. I want to dive right into this because where we last left off was pretty exciting. But to follow tradition, and no matter how much Grant wants to get right into killing people, let's go ahead and do not only a quick intro of the players and their characters, but also where did we leave off and how the heck did we get there?
You're past. Okay.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
All right. I'm Joanna Walker. I play Quinn Brickard, the female half-elf fighter.
Weren't you supposed to recap as well? Fine, I'll do your
No,
job
we're
for
doing
you.
intros. We're just, you know what? Sure.
I am Ozzy. I play the currently going through his emo phase, Valentil Marenko. And ideally, people will like his character in about 2 episodes.
Good. Wait that long? 2 episodes?
It might be this episode. Who knows what happens? I have no idea.
I might kill you in this episode.
You already tried once.
That's
I
fair.
succeeded too.
Yeah, it did seem pretty easy.
He was already damaged, and she's like,
I think there's a lot of My Chemical Romance fans that enjoy you just the way you are.
Speaking of Umbrella Academy.
I don't want to act like I just learned what that thing is.
okay, so, my name is Grant. I play Monolith, the Earth Genasi rogue, and...
Is it really not Ganassi?
Yeah, it's like Genie, Genasi. Genie.
Hey.
It's still,
That's what I was told by our Allfather.
Right.
So I didn't...
And keep in mind, I pronounced the half shark last episode, so
That's true.
listen to the Genasi over here.
And last we checked, we were on a ship crossing the Strait of Iam, and now we got off of it. Or across.
Yeah.
Not to be confused with the Strait of I Am Not.
Good one. Come on.
That was terrible. Don't
Yeah.
don't
Or
don't
the
you
curve
dare.
I am.
Don't you dare.
Stop. And
And I am Parker. I play
Puddle of I am.
Tammy Woodspin, the half-orc druid. Yeah, cool.
And occasional spider.
And occasional
And occasional
spider.
spider, yes.
Because it was the first animal I changed it
You're
to.
a freak. An eight-legged freak.
You know it. Hey.
disgusting
Spiders
spider.
are good people.
Yeah, but that
Spiders are
movie,
good
though.
people. What?
Eight-legged freaks.
Oh.
That's a bad movie.
It probably is. I didn't want to watch it.
I saw it when I was younger because I wanted to watch a scary movie with my family, and I was just
That's-
like, this movie sucks. It's not scary. It's just like they were punching sound effects
Okay, but
when the
have you ever
spiders
seen
hit people
Hypercube?
with their legs.
Stop. That's so
bad.
funny.
Like, and I'm like, what is going on?
That's fantastic.
So secretly, this wasn't an episode of Campfire. This is the first podcast.
Podcast for eight-legged freaks and all things about it.
I'm trying to imagine the Foley artist that is working that job and I'm so proud of myself. Can't wait to tell my family about these punches.
Mom, Mom, I finally got a job on a movie.
Doing punching sounds for spiders? Spiders don't punch things. You're a disgrace.
Oh man, okay.
Monolith's a parent. Well, the four of you did make it across the Strait of I Am. That's what we're going to call it.
Okay.
It is.
It is. I was just waiting. I was like giving the pause so we could run through the different names and the.
The puddle of I Am.
The one pause we had for puns and nobody used it. I'm sad now.
I have a feeling
The
you guys will.
disappointment of I
You guys
Am.
will find a way to make up for it. The I Am disappointed.
Do you mean my knife?
Just straight up, I am disappointed.
Well,
I am ready to continue.
Oh my god.
We can only amuse ourselves for so long, guys.
and
It's
then you
not
have to
about
start amusing all of the viewers. I guess.
See, here's the
I
thing.
guess we're going to
If
transition
chat
into that.
starts saying right now, like, we want more I Am puns, like 3 hours. Just
Only.
straight I Am puns.
Oh, I need more caffeine for that.
And oddly, chat's not asking for that. Huh.
You don't know that? You're not checking.
No, I'm pretty sure.
He does not need to
That
check.
almost went out the wrong pipe.
You need that computer for 2 more months. Be careful.
I got an apple care.
Okay, so we are across the body of water.
We
There's
are.
no obvious-
We are. And the last thing that you saw was the ship. It had already turned around. It dropped you off and was making its return voyage almost immediately. Hardly stopped long enough for the gangplank to hit the dock and you to jump out. As you're watching that leave, the last thing you heard before we broke last time were the screams of some townspeople, some shuddering doors, somebody yelling to batten down the hatches, and it seems as if there's some chaos ensuing.
Fantastic.
As-
Everybody loves some chaos.
As you stand at the end of the dock where you've been dropped off, and you've walked a little ways towards the town, the harbor town, it's not very big. It's a collection of maybe 5 buildings, and a few of them are connected with overhangs and boardwalks that connect one building to another. There are dunes that'll make it so there might be a 10-foot drop between buildings, and so these walkways kind of connect them and make it so it's easy to get from building to building. And you're looking in this direction, you're hearing the chaos, but you're not necessarily seeing anything right away. Especially since you haven't rolled for any perception.
Oh, well,
I feel like I want to roll
Can
for
I
something.
take a gander?
I would like
I
to
think
look
we're doing
around.
it. We're going to do ourselves a group perception.
No.
Hold up. Clink d20s.
This is like
Oh, let's do that too.
Toast.
Wait, ours are metal, so they make a nice noise.
There you go, there you go. That was
That didn't sound any
disappointing.
different.
that sounded like a spider punching somebody.
Whoa, Mom, they referenced us again.
Hey,
Aw.
hey, Jam.
I wasted
So-
a nat 20 on
so-
perception.
Hey, at least we'll be looking for things real hard. Oh
Mm-hmm.
man. Okay. Well.
20.
Ah.
Nice. I got a 7.
Beautiful. 20, I heard. 21.
19.
19, nice.
A 5.
I'm just not paying attention.
Well,
Ah!
yeah.
What is? That's a. Oh. It is a 5. It is actually a 5.
What do you mean you didn't do basic arithmetic? Oh, it is 0.
Well, luckily, a couple of you zeroed in directly on a problem. You were able to ascertain what direction the problem was coming from. And while you didn't notice before if windows were open or closed, every building you're looking at now seems to be shuttered. There are no open windows. There's no darkness inside a building that you're looking into. You're just seeing exterior wood and shutters. The one place where there seems to be some activity, you see 2 people, and you can't tell from the distance, even with your good roll, you can't see from the distance what types of people they are, but you can see they are beating on the front door, which is closed, and it sounds as if they're begging to get in.
I start walking towards them
Yeah.
because that's really the only thing happening right now. Like these people sailed off, and took our maybe future battle from us. So I'm just gonna walk towards them and be like, all right, I don't know what's happening.
An
Let's do
internal
this."
struggle definitely takes place within Valandril. He wants to continue to it, but he still has a good-natured soul.
I
so
grab
he
Val's collar and drag him along.
Excuse me, you didn't let me finish. Despite the internal conflict of wanting to get the quest, his good nature still has him follow Quinn there. Jeez.
She's like, hey, do you guys want to go? And you're like, well, and then she just drags you.
I'm just like,
No hesitation.
I don't care if you want to go or not. I'm just, okay, you're coming with me.
Excusez-moi.
I'm also.
Beautiful.
I kind of want to shout at them, be like, hey, what's going on? But I don't want to cause them to run away. So that's what I think. That's what Monolith thinks in his head. He's like,
Little monolith monologue.
Accent
Yeah.
might scare them.
A monologue.
A monologue.
oh God, he's from D&D New Jersey. Get away.
Ye old Jersey.
That was coming. Yep. So you walk down the dock and you reach the end of it, and you step down onto the sandy ground. The sand's a little damp. There are the kind of little brown shrubs and bushes around that you probably don't want to step on because they're full of, prickers and thorns. And that's the least of your worries right now, though, because in front of you, even though you're still not close, you're closer, and you can definitely hear the sounds of people saying, please let us in, please by the gods let us in, bang, 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 bang. As you continue to walk towards them, I'm just reading the script here.
Yeah, they totally say that. That's what's
Like,
happening.
bang, 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 let me
Bang,
in.
bang, bang, bang. They're not even touching the door.
Bang, bang,
Bang,
bang.
bang,
They're
bang.
just shouting bang,
Yeah.
bang at it.
Right.
Spider punches.
Because as you get closer, you can tell they're the Bang Bang people of Bangugula.
You made that up.
No! No! I forgot what I said, but I didn't make it up. As you get closer, you see the door quickly open and the two people dart inside, and then the door close again. At this point, you're about 25 feet 25 feet away from that opening. And around the corner, you're now close enough to the building to where there's an area on that side of the building you can't see. Around the building, on the other side, you hear what sounds like the sails that you spent a lot of time hearing when you were coming across the Strait of Iam. Taut fabric on wind. Wha-pa! Wha-pa! It's just a buffeting sound, the kind of sound you might hear a flag make in the wind.
Can we see anything that's making this noise, or we're just hearing it?
At this very second, you can.
Cool.
At this very second. From behind the building and up over the roof that you're standing just back enough to be able to see over, a blue wormling.
A blue
Oh.
It's a baby dragon, but you wouldn't call it a baby dragon. And I'm not sure if your characters have seen these before, but you've heard tales of them. It flies up from behind the building and looks down at all of you. And I guess we're gonna roll initiative.
Immediately. Dang, I can't even hide.
For
He's
real.
looking right at us. This is what I'm looking up pictures of wormling. They just look like a dragon.
I think it fucked up because that's
I think so.
messed up. 'Cause that's a little messed up.
Achoo!
Messed up.
Everybody gets one.
We only get one of those. Only one. Use wisely.
Too bad I used
Initiative.
it
Mm-hmm.
Mark it just
Initiative.
it up.
Alright, I can live with that.
We have numbers 20 to 25.
Oh,
What'd you get, Joe?
20.
All right, 15 to 20 or 19.
19.
Oh,
Especially-
19.
Especially enthusiastic hand
What's your
raise.
dex? Mine's better.
Your dex is better than me?
Oh wait, I lied. I was looking at my strength.
Yeah, no way. Get out of here.
All right, 10 to 14.
Hey. I got a 13.
Oh, sure.
13. Valandrill.
Being so mesmerized by seeing a
Definitely
giant
wasted
flying
my
worm.
pass without a trace on the
Jana, Tammy, what did that leave you with?
19.
Weird.
You guys both have a 19. I missed that. I'm sorry.
We.
So do we roll
Oh,
again
wait,
to see
so
who
it is
goes
a-
first
oh.
on 19?
Yeah.
You
so.
actually have an
Yeah.
opportunity to decide each turn in what way you'd like to go.
Worm.
That's
with a
gonna give
Y.
us an advantage.
Normally we would just decide and stick with it, but in this particular encounter, I'd like you to make decisions.
Gotcha.
Monolith, Jam, and boy, let me just tell you, this young wormling rolled poorly.
Is he just gonna get nuked before he even hits the ground? Cause
Why?
that'd be great.
He's
How
gonna
are we
become worm food.
Ha
Womp
ha ha.
womp.
You're canceled.
Since you already
Uh-huh.
like
You're
stepped down,
canceled.
can we fire you?
Someone's getting a quicker promotion today.
All right, there it is.
You getting fired?
The very first person that's going to act, because it's not the wormling, apparently his action was to fly up and see you guys and go, And then, who knows what he's thinking? He's a blue wormling.
Is that the noise it made?
It's one of them. Pick a Muppet. That's what he sounds like in his head.
Kermit the Frog or Miss Piggy or
Just one of those.
Animal.
That's it.
Oh,
That's
Miss
the one.
Beaker. Swedish Chef.
Yeah.
Nondescript hand puppet.
Okay. So is it between us?
Nope, the very first person to go is going to be Quinn.
Yes.
Quinn, what would you like to do in this situation?
I don't have any ranged things.
So I look up at this thing and it makes the Muppet noise, and Quinn is just like,
Me.
okay. She's
I found
not intimidated by this thing at all. She's like, all right, well, here we go. She can't reach it, can she? Like, it's far enough up ahead of her that she can't reach it.
Oh, that's a good question. You guys are about, I would say, 50 feet away, 50 game feet away.
Okay. I'm gonna draw my longsword and just take a hike, walk my 30 feet towards it.
And then are you going to hold an action like a dodge or?
Yes.
Okay, good call.
I can take a hint.
Is that the one you want to take? There's some other things you could do if you want to hold and save that precious action.
Actually, I don't want to hold a dodge. I'll hold an attack.
Okay, got it. Well then, Monolith Jam, who's going first? What are you guys going to do?
Who has? Do you have long range?
I have spells.
Okay. So we're both. It kind of doesn't matter who goes first.
You can go first.
Are you sure you're going
Yeah,
to go
no,
first?
I
Oh,
swear.
sure?
You got it. You
Oh,
got it.
all right.
Canadian standoff.
I'll go first. Okay. That won't cause any problems. So I'm willing to hit. I'm using
Yeah, what are you doing here?
my crossbow
Okay.
that I haven't used yet. So,
You haven't. I'm excited.
well.
Let's see how this works out.
Do it.
Oh, that's good. 24.
24 hits like a boss.
Yeah, baby.
Wait, did you roll a 20?
No, I
No, I
rolled
rolled
a
a
19,
19.
Oh,
and it has a
okay,
plus
okay.
5 to hit.
Okay.
And do I get sneak attack on this?
I think he
really
saw
confused.
us.
No, he's looking at you.
Okay.
I've read up on this. I'll share some resources that I have.
Please.
It's
Because the description on here is really confusing.
and you can have it a lot more often than I thought. This just isn't one of the times.
Right. It's weird. That's a 12.
He made sure of it.
1d8 plus 3.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. I roll a d8. Please don't get a 1. 11.
Max hit 11. Wow.
8
All
plus
right.
3.
Would you describe that? Like the bolt leaves your crossbow. What does that thing do?
Ooh, okay. So the dragon's sitting up there like, staring at us, and I like Old West style, like wow, wow, wow. I whip out the crossbow like real fast, and then it just like, where's it hit him? I guess I go like right for his forehead. I hit him like right in the forehead, and it just kind of. I'm guessing he has like a thick skull, and the bolt doesn't go through, so it's just kind of stuck there.
Yeah, but with that 11 points of damage, that's pretty substantial. I would say that if it lodged up there, it broke a little bit of skull just enough to start that cracking process. That was a good, strong hit. Absolutely. Nice blow.
I really butchered it up on the boat, so I'm coming back.
There you go.
Jana Tammy.
Guys, I don't really know about this. My mom has told me a lot of things about dragons, and I don't really like it.
It ain't a dragon, it's a wormling.
Whatever, they look the same.
I don't think they do.
Have you fantasy Googled this?
That's discrimination.
People look really scary.
I bet they all look the same to you, don't they? Disgusting.
So I'm gonna take like 10 feet of my movement to get a little bit closer.
Okay.
But I'm gonna hold my action until it like attacks.
Okay, and what action are you holding?
I'm gonna just if it swoops down for an attack, I'm gonna like try and like sickle it.
If in range, you attack.
Yeah.
Got it. All right, good one. 2 held actions, 2 held attacks, 1 strike, and a young man named Valandril. A young half-elf named Valandril.
So, the first thing he's going to do is look at it and go, oh, well, this is new. And find something to climb to get a better advantage. It's going to want... height. People haven't picked up on this. Height is his thing. So, a rooftop, whatever. He's going to get on top of that first. So, that'll be movement.
Let's just do a quick interaction. This won't take any of your any of your time necessarily, but you're going to look around real quick, and it is not really something you have to perceive when you're a climber that's trying to climb up something. Let's just say that it's pretty easy for you to see that the closest thing to you is the building, and the only way to get up on top of it would be to scale the side. I'd say it's about 20 feet up, maybe that'd take 40 feet of movement to get to the top because it's half speed to climb. So it didn't take you any time to notice that's your option, but your option would be to start climbing that
I love
building.
how he's suggesting things very subtly.
You have other options. You wanted to climb something, I let you know what your climbing options were. And also how we would calculate the time on that.
He'll get close to it at least. And then notch an arrow, get ready. And you know what? I feel like him and Monolith are the 2 wild cards. So he's going to loose an arrow as well. Because all he's heard in storybooks were dragons are the evil. Dragons
You didn't
usually
try to,
guard
talk
hoards
to
of
this
treasures, even though this is a worm.
I just shot it. I didn't even try to talk to it or nothing.
Yeah.
I kind of feel
No.
bad.
So trying to be the hero. Wow.
So he looses the long. He doesn't hold it. He looses the longbow arrow.
Shoots that.
All right, roll.
13.
That misses.
Yeah.
I don't even need my glasses. I will say that having already been struck once and being struck in the skull, seeing another arrow fly at you can be a little disconcerting, even for a wormling. So while it's not that you caused any additional damage, but your shot didn't go unnoticed. All right, and that takes us to the wormling.
Where we all die.
Yeah, pretty much.
I just want to read this one thing and make sure that instant death is a possibility.
Oh no.
Well, it is. Good luck, guys.
All right. The very first thing he does is release his lightning breath, and he
This was a bad idea.
He
guys.
blasts directly down at you and then out, trying to catch as many of you as he can in his blast. That has all of you. You do fall within it, and everybody has to roll a dexterity save.
Oh.
I won't tell you what the magic number is, but dex save it up.
That's my best one.
19.
Oh! I'm cheating.
Oh!
You gotta.
Uh-huh.
I think.
So that's a miss.
No.
I got a 24.
Ah,
Woo!
yeah.
We're on
19,
fire today.
24.
I got a 5.
Next game.
No.
Can I use my sword to conduct the lightning?
You
I
guys
feel like
had.
that'd make it worse.
You guys, I think each had.
You just like.
Oh no, you didn't. I'm sorry, I'm mixing stuff up. Nobody here's holding any inspiration at all, right?
I don't think so, no.
Yeah. Okay.
I kind of
So-
have shark dude in half.
It is what it is.
Bye, guys.
It was nice knowing you. It was
I
nice
know,
having
right?
that
At
body.
least
Now I get to
I'll
come out
let
with
you
the
know,
second
man.
character.
Look, at least
Yeah.
I'll die
There you
drunk.
We're not level 3 yet, so
True.
we're not gonna die.
Okay.
As far as we know.
Are you? You wouldn't do that to it. It's not a hell beast.
Speaking of which, I need to get that to you.
It'd be great if we could start using those. It's okay. I've been saying I'd make credits for the longest time.
So, those of you that saved, you take 11 points of damage.
Oh my
Holy
god!
Lord.
Wait.
No, I'm sorry, you guys saved. You guys that did not save,
I was
you
like,
take
if we
11
saved,
points of
then we took
damage.
11.
Later.
You guys take 6.
I'm down.
Bye.
Fun. 6? That's a lot.
That's a lot of damage.
No, that's a lot of damage.
We sawed this half elf.
We shot this wormling in the face. Now that's a lot of damage.
All right, to complete his turn after shooting that blast down. And keep in mind, this is a intense blast. You guys know, you felt the pain of it. It shoots down in just a horrendous blast of electricity and power. And right after shooting that blast down, he swoops down over your heads, moves behind you, and turns back around. And that's when you hear, coming from where you heard the original sound, foom, foom,
Oh, no,
a second blue wormling right where the first one was. This one uses his last 20 feet to fly down towards the people that dodged out of the way. You guys are together in a cluster. And does a bite attack.
Does that mean, do I get to use my action because this wormling is close to me, or is it only for that other one?
I would argue that it'd be for anything that would come into that range. It doesn't have to be that particular enemy. And I would say the same for anybody that was holding an action that's still conscious.
Okay. So does that mean I get to attack it, or?
Yeah, if you'd like to do that before he takes his attack, you can do that.
I'm just gonna do
Yeah,
some work
I'm
while
still
he's-
holding an attack too, but I'm not in range of him. Am I? How far away is he from me?
The closest
You
one is
definitely-
coming
you got
down.
about 30 feet ahead of me, because like you went closer to the other one. Like,
Yeah,
instead of-
yeah.
So, and from there, he shot down, blasted you two because he'd moved up closer to the building. The two of them dexed out of the way. Everybody took some form of damage, and they took far less, and so they're now a little further back. The new one that came up has spotted them, but the old one moved around behind you two and is at your back. So you're either turning around and getting the one that's about 10 or 15 behind you, or in front with the new one that's just come down and is dealing with these two people with this die.
Okay, if I can get to the one that's got the arrow sticking out of his head, I had an attack queued up.
Okay,
I'm gonna
let's do it.
use it.
So unfair.
He's gonna be real emo after this.
The sad part is that Dex is my highest saving throw.
Oh no!
Oh, but you rolling a nat 1 doesn't matter how high your saving throw is.
Like it's a 6, Grant.
That's
good.
pretty good.
Mine's a +5.
I get a +8 to longbows,
Damn.
and I still miss.
That's kind of impressive. I'm not gonna lie.
16?
That just misses. They've got a very powerful natural armor. I would even say that. Well, it doesn't glance off, but man, it got so close. It was so close, it was so close to almost hitting.
Right. All of my hair is like sticking up on end and there's smoke coming off of me and I just look like I'm about to fall over and my blade just goes like it might take some of the fletching off of his crossbow bolt.
No.
I even like the thought of that with the sparks traveling from ear tip to head and nose to chin and just, bzz, bzz.
Can
Just
I
cool, very cool.
can I use my bonus action to drink one of those greater health potions?
Not on this turn, but on your next turn, and that's a full action to drink a greater health,
Okay.
a healing potion.
Okay.
I do have. Oh wait, we gotta
It-
force
it
feed
only-
him one.
Hmm?
He's out. We gotta force feed him one.
And now the wormling's attack on you is a bite attack, and actually he's only going to attack one of you. Would you guys, because you're side by side, would you roll a d6 each? The highest number's getting bit.
Oh no! Now I want to roll low. Well, I rolled a 6.
I got a 5! Yes!
Gotta
Okay.
attack the guy with less health.
He may not bite you. He's just going to try.
Yeah.
While he's going by, or like when he's done going by.
4. Yes. Plus 5.
Oh, he doesn't come close.
Okay.
Do I get to take my attack on him while he's going by?
Yes, you absolutely do, and you
Swooping
could have
by.
done that before, but I like narratively this anyway because this head, a baby dragon is a giant creature,
Right.
and its nasty giant head snaps at you, somehow doesn't connect, and this leaves it open for an attack from Jen and Tammy. What kind of attack is this with the sickle?
Yeah, with my sickle. 17 plus 8.
A kaboom.
A boom.
That hits.
Where are you?
Anything above 20 is going to be pretty good.
Are you telling? Or...
No, I just mean in general. I guess, yeah, we'll.
7 damage.
Okay. So this is the new one who's just taken 7. All right, that takes us back to the top with Quinn.
Okay.
You just like.
Pretty much. Okay, so I'm I'm standing right in front of the injured one. Yes. Okay.
Yes.
They're both kind of
Alright.
injured.
There's an injured. The one with an arrow sticking out of it's
The one with
behind
the-
you. The one you swung at,
Yeah.
Oh, the worms.
just kind of behind you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nobody cares
So
about
It's
I'm,
okay.
I'm gonna
I don't either.
chug a healing potion
Okay.
and like dodge roll out of the way.
You've got full movement, and that'll take you 30 feet.
Yeah.
So you just want to move 30 feet away, and from the perspective of the one that flew behind you, that would have you moving closer to the building.
Yes.
Okay, that's fair. And you're retreating towards the building.
Yes.
Got it.
Uh,
And how many hit points did you pick up with that?
it's wait. Greater healing is
4? 4d4 plus 2?
Because the normal one's 2D.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
44 plus 4.
Plus 2.
Mine says potion of greater healing 44 plus 4.
Oh, I had 4. My bad.
Just
That actually brings me back up to.
put 9 up there and hit
Yep, 4. My bad.
Gotcha.
you. Let it do the math for you.
Yeah. Yeah. I forget that these things are interactive and you can do that. Okay. Yeah. All right. I'm gonna.
Was it a good glug glug?
Yeah, it was a good glug glug. I'm actually back at full health.
Nice.
Actually, instead of retreating, because that'll give him an attack of opportunity, I'm just gonna.
So it wouldn't, because he was about 10 or 15 feet away. No, you swung.
Yeah, I swung. I am right up in his face.
So when you swung, I still had him further back, but if you made a swing, you got into melee range. So that's correct. And then
Yeah.
you didn't leave, so you're not going to take the attack of opportunity.
Yeah,
He's
no.
not going to take the attack
Yeah,
of
no.
opportunity.
I'm just gonna stay there. I'm like, all right, I'm back at full health. I'm gonna smite you.
Okay. Fair enough. Good move, and thank you for reminding me about that. Well, that has us going to the pair of you two and deciding who's going first. Unless you want to stick to what you did.
There's a yes, you can go first. There's the guy like right in front of us, right?
Yes, the one that just took a bite at you, just took a hit from a sickle, and is now pretty angry and looking at the two of you.
Does it require an action to put away a crossbow?
No, Pulling out and taking away is we're calling that action free in 5th edition.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
First things first, for my bonus action, I'm going to cast a spell called Healing Word. It's 60 feet away, and I'm gonna cast it on my pal over here, Valandro.
Nice. He not only pops up, he pops up with health, right?
Yep, with 3 points of health. So now you're awake and functioning.
Oh, I feel like garbage.
Aww.
Let me sleep in, Mom.
Oh no, he's up and angry now. He's ready to go.
He like puts in his headphones. I've become
Hey, we've gone from Linkin Park. He's in a Foo Fighters case.
Oh, okay.
His alignment's changing.
Yes.
That's fair.
And that was my bonus action.
Mhm.
And the guy is still right there, right in front of us.
Yeah, for sure.
With that, I am going to turn around and yeah, I'll just do another sickle attack.
Okay.
Do I have dice? Not that one.
Mm-hmm.
This one's
That's a
bad.
good trick.
4 plus 8, not enough.
No. But you healed everybody pretty well. And you're staying put.
Wait, you healed multiple people?
Just
You healed him pretty well.
Yes.
I'm gonna kind of put myself in front of Monolith a little bit, just as like a meat shield.
Yep, that works.
Sweet.
That doesn't affect anything at all, but you are physically standing between him and the wormling.
So, I got 2 actions. Can I use one of them to drink a potion?
Do you have 2 actions? Or
I
think you have-
2 actions? 2
No,
attacks.
yeah, you have a movement and an action, and then some class you'll get a bonus action in a few levels.
I need it because I really want to drink. Because if
For
it can
rogue?
do like 11 damage in one hit, I'm not doing hot. But I also just want to stab it.
You just give us another round of healing.
That's true. I could let you heal me and try to stab it.
Stabby, stabby.
All right, I'm gonna try to stab it. All right, I got my daggers. I'm gonna roll for
You're doing your special dagger attack with the first, and your two-hand non-weighted in the second.
Special first, regular next. Special, baby, here we go. Okay, that's 22?
Yeah.
Okay. First one, good dagger hit. Next dagger,
Oh!
it's a net 20.
You always get nat 20s on your non-special
Plus
dagger.
Bruh.
It's a special, non-special
You
dagger.
are
So-
on fire.
I was rolling real garbage last time, so maybe it's every other episode.
Yeah.
Coming back around.
So next
Back
episode,
around.
I'm gonna kill myself.
Alright,
Next-
well, how about we not do that?
I'm gonna like roll really bad on a dagger and actually stab myself in the heart. Okay, so I got a 16 or a 22 and then a 25.
Yeah. You gonna roll that damage?
Yes. 1d4 plus 4. That's a 5. And the next one
I
is
saw that.
a 4.
Okay.
And since I'm close to a teammate, do I get sneak attack? Or is it
Yeah,
only-
because 5 feet apart. Also, don't forget for the nat 20 when you double your dice.
I double my dice?
Yeah,
you,
you're
you
right.
Just,
Sorry.
You roll once and then you double what you got on the,
Oh.
on the
A
dice.
crit hit is double the
A
damage.
2 plus 4, so it's a 6, not a 5.
6.
That's true.
And then sneak attack damage?
Let's
Or-
do that, and I'm gonna go look it up on break. But I'm feeling like I feel like you're right.
We're gonna research it because it's really confusing. 4. So 4 plus 6 plus 4.
And the sneak attack damage, although it doesn't matter, that goes to the first strike, I imagine.
Sure.
Sure, it probably doesn't matter. Minus
4 plus 6 plus.
The first one was a
How many?
1,
What did I do?
It was 2 1s. You rolled 2 1s. So the
I rolled
first
2
one
ones.
was a 5, right?
So a 5.
5 and a 4. You double the dice on the first one.
So a 4 and a 6
6 and a 4.
plus a 4.
Yeah.
8. plus
14.
6. There we go.
14,
Okay.
14 total.
Oh,
Do the math.
I can't.
You got it.
Calculators?
Yes, please. Let's,
No, this is
Yeah.
good exercise. This is good for us. It's good for me.
Yeah.
Snack season.
I can't play D. I'm getting hot, guys. I just got in here. Oh god.
All right. Would you guys walk through the visualization of what happened there? I don't want to move on to the next set of hits until you describe your actions and yours.
Okay. You first.
You did your healing and then you did the step between. That was cool.
Yeah.
What about your stabbings?
Me. She stepped between, and I was like, "Oh, that's very kind, but I gotta, yeah, sorry, but thank you very much." So I walked past her a little awkward, and since the walk past was kind of awkward, I'm like, I guess I gotta stab you. And then
He guesses.
I step back and behind her, and I'm like, "See, there we go. See, like
Please
it
be
was
careful.
yeah, no problem. My bad. My apologies. That was a little awkward. My apologies. And then he looks away.
Very good, very good. Yeah, no, I think everybody can relate to that. It's pretty standard.
People trying to step in front of you so you don't get hurt, and then you gotta be like, but I still
Sorry.
gotta stab them.
Still
Like,
gotta
sorry.
stab. Hands are tied here.
Yeah.
All right. Valandrill, you are
I'm
angry and up.
alive.
Angry and up. You're not rolling
He's
anything.
up. So now, thanks to the gracious help of Jan and Tammy, everything's kind of blurry, but everything's coming into vision now, and he's finally up. He's kind of really angry. So immediately he's gonna bring an arrow, notch it, and go for the one that was. It should still be in range, right? The one that Grant, or should I say Monolith, hit with the crossbow.
That one is pretty close to you. That's with. It's 10 feet away from you because you're behind.
Mother!
Is that another one?
No way!
You don't know. No. Parker's already used it. You can't.
What are enemies?
So was it that one?
I think your fopdoodle was the word you're looking
There you go.
So is the longbow gonna break again?
for. No.
With shoddy craftsmanship? No, you healed it.
No.
No, I
I so
trust
many
in my,
d20s.
I trust in my dice.
Please.
No.
They just
Don't
betray
trust your
you
dice
twice.
anymore.
He just betrayed you twice in a row.
Actually, this was the dice that Jason gave me.
You should never trust the dice that Jason gives you.
Is that one of the curse die? Did you not give him some?
Let's see what I would have done if I used mine.
Well,
Better.
I mean, yeah, kind of.
Better than a 1.
Yeah.
What are the odds?
Well, 19. Actually, 19 are better than 1. 19 possibilities.
Your bowstring does not break. Your bow does not break.
But what does happen?
He shoots one of us.
Your
in the
hand,
face.
yeah. No, you shoot Quinn in the back.
Not everyone is a tragedy. You did lose an arrow from this. It did fire. It just flew off in a direction that was not intended. No additional pain, but you're down 1 arrow that you won't be able to retrieve.
You're just like,
The horror.
freaking heck.
And you do have some movement left, and you're not in melee range of either of your enemies.
You know, at this point, I should be close enough to that building to be able to climb it, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's absolutely gonna happen. So the arrow looses, and thanks to the blurry vision, it just completely misses. So he decides, okay, instead of retreating, maybe I just need a better vantage point. So he's gonna grab onto the side and start climbing it. And it's the only thing
Assassin's
impressive
Creed.
he will ever do.
Well, we haven't rolled for it yet.
True. Also, is
Well,
it,
usually you don't have to roll for movement, even when it's encumbered, but I am going to have you do a strength roll,
Okay.
and it's going to determine whether or not you supersede the amount of distance you should cover and make it all the way up on the roof.
So are we just doing regular strength modifier?
Yep, it's a check, not a save.
All right, then 13.
So you make it with your hands touching the roof at the end of your turn. You are in a position to now pull yourself the rest of the way up at your next turn.
I'm totally just hanging off it and kind of looking at what's going on.
You've got 30 feet of movement. It slows you down to about 15 when you're climbing. You took about 5 of that to walk over, maybe 2 or 3 to walk over. And then I'm giving you about 12 feet of climbing distance there. It puts you at the roof, lip of the roof.
Here right now.
I'm not humming the Assassin's Creed theme. That didn't happen.
All right, it's to the wormlings.
Oh god.
The one that's closest to you guys cannot use his electric fire breath again.
electric boogaloo.
He's got to wait a little while.
no.
You guys have
Wormling
your
2
wormling
electric
has
boogaloo.
absolutely no problem unleashing, which is what he's now going to do.
Oh no.
So he unleashes his lightning breath
This is
at the
bad.
2 of you.
This is really bad.
I'm
He
dead.
shoots
I'm
down,
dead.
and you're going to
This is bad.
roll your.
This is so
Dex
bad.
saving?
Yep, dex save.
This is so
I'll get my
bad.
D4s ready or D6s
Even
ready.
if I miss, I'm gonna be very close to dead.
Same. I don't wanna.
They're done.
Oh.
18?
Okay.
That's a save.
Yeah!
Not a bad one. That's 22.
Yeah, totally safe. 12's the magic number on the lightning breath from a blue wormling. And
So I actually
you guys
got some more.
both dexed out of that with no problem.
I have to roll a 7.
Good gravy.
Stop.
Don't say good gravy.
Stop counting!
40, 49, 50. Just kidding.
With that amount of damage, you could kill all of us.
Yeah, we'd be dead.
All our health is combined.
And then I half that, and then that rounds up to a 7.
I'm unconscious next, guys.
Are you unconscious currently?
Currently.
I am barely standing.
That was exactly how much health I had.
We're all gonna die.
After releasing his blast of electric fire on you both, lifts his head in the air and roars, turns around and sees you're both now on the ground.
Just like.
Yep. Turns around and sees 2 people that are still standing and closes the distance between the 2 of you. And that's the, oh, I'm sorry, one of you, you're hanging, and it stops right there with no other action.
Question.
Did he leave my melee range?
Yep.
Do I get that a time?
Nope, you're unconscious.
I don't know, I have 1 hit point.
One.
Woo!
Yes, you do.
I also have a question.
Okay.
Since she stood in front of me, does that do anything? Or was it just like a.
I did put
I'm gonna
myself
see.
in front of him.
So it's not the dex is how quickly you can move out of the way of the blast. So when you rolled that, you rolled really well to get out of the way of it, but nobody can get out of the way of less than half of it. So it's not. There's nobody that could really absorb that and take it for
Yeah,
you.
that's fair. Just seeing if I could not die.
Nope.
But, okay.
Got a 5 plus 8.
So you've used your reaction,
Yep.
and that completes your turn from before. And there is a second wormling that is the one that has the arrow sticking out of it like this, and it's facing you, and it would love to just cook you with electricity, but instead it opens its mouth and takes a bite attack.
That's better,
And-
honestly.
That'd be
At
brutal.
least it has a video game weak spot now.
Yeah.
Right?
You could use your
Attack
sword, the flat end of the sword, and hammer the arrow
Okay,
into
so
its skull.
has anybody seen the End Him Rightly video?
Who?
Okay, never mind.
You hear that silence?
Never mind. Yeah, well, shh, shh. I know I'm weird, okay? It's fine. It's fine.
I don't know who that is.
In this case, you're wrongly.
Does it, does a
That was a good one. That was a good one. I like that one.
9, does an 11 hit?
No.
I didn't think it did.
Look at that.
That's why it's a 20.
He, I'm saving that. He snaps down, and the deafening snap of the jaw near you is pretty startling, but not deadly.
He snaps like close to Quinn's head, and she's like, "I'm already half deaf in this here."
You almost think he goes, hmm?
Little muppet, like.
Huh? Okay, damage, and Quinn, you're at the top.
Okay.
Yep. Not,
Okay.
Not impressed in the least.
Nope. I'm gonna hit the one with the arrow in his head. Punch the arrow.
He just finished roaring, just finished snapping.
I want when I got electrocuted. I want it to be like from a slapstick comedy, where like things fall over like.
I'm actually not doing
Home Alone
anything.
style.
Are you sure about that?
I get a 15. Oh.
Sorry.
Horde.
They have a natural armor of 17. You could look that up in a fantasy library later. It's pretty intense. They've got some serious natural armor.
I love that. You open up a book. Dragons have an AC of 17. What does that mean?
Okay.
I don't get it.
What does that even?
You're staying put?
AC. Air conditioning.
I'm between two of them now, aren't I?
Yes. I will say that the one that's behind you is not... Let's see. Is that a complete sandwich? Yep. You're completely surrounded.
Fantastic.
Yep.
I.
Oh boy, this is gonna be a
Can I
TKO.
kind of move so I can see both of them? I'm not running anywhere. I'm not like actually moving anywhere, but I want to make sure I face my death from both directions.
Now,
Like go
I-
cross-eyed. Like
I love to talk about this a little bit extra when we don't have a map on the board, just to make sure there's not a misunderstanding. But I'm picturing you between two enemies, and you're right here, and all you're doing is shifting your body and like backing up a little so you can see
so
the
I
problem,
can see both of them.
and
yes.
that's totally cool.
Yes, that's it.
Okay, so that's where we stop that, and it takes us to the Monolith Janet Tammy duo.
so
You're
you gotta
down.
go first
That's true.
and give me healing.
I can't keep doing this. I've only got so much energy, and I'm going to cast, healing word again on Monolith.
How many do you get?
I get 3, and I've used 1, so here's 2.
Bye,
You
guys.
get
That's-
2 points of healing.
Wow.
You're up. I'm gonna
put that
take
in.
my movement, and I'm going to run towards one of the dragons. I'm gonna go to the one with the arrow in its head.
The one that is there's
Which
the
one's
other one,
closest
the
to
other
me?
one.
The other one?
Yep, the one that
Um,
came in damaged, shot lightning at you.
I'm just gonna be like, what's up, electric breath? Like, look over here. I want to try and get his attention away from from Quinn. Like, I just want to yell at some and like try and divert.
Yeah, that falls under interaction. Yelling a few words like that to get an enemy's attention is totally legit. You won't know until their turn if they react to that,
Do I have to
but you've
roll
done it.
anything, or
Nope.
is it just happening?
Yeah, there's no performance or anything involved in that. If it was going to be as big an ordeal as a performance or if you're trying to lie to somebody, we would roll for that, but you'd trade your other actions to do that.
Okay. Cool.
So you pop up.
Yes. I sit up straight, like real dazed, and I'm like, "Thank you, hey, Jam. Oh God! I reach for my bag, and I pull out the potion. I'm like, down the hatch. And then I rolled 4d4 plus 4. And I got a little thing here, so I have to actually roll 4 of them. 15!
Woo!
Nice.
There you go.
That's like
That's more than
more
I
than
can.
all of them. So like all the health. Good job.
Heal. Yeah, I'm back to full health. I drink it, and then I smash it on the ground. I'm like, woo! Let's go!
Some would say he got electrified. Shocking.
You're not in melee range of an enemy, and it takes half your motion to stand up, half your movement to stand up if you want to do that.
Yeah, I'm gonna use half my movement to stand up, and then the rest of it to go towards. Like I stand up, use half my movement, and then use the rest of that half, the other half, to
You have 15 feet left. What direction are you going?
the dragons.
Okay.
The real enemy.
I couldn't tell if it was I go as far away as possible or I go to the enemy. I didn't know which direction you were going.
Well, now I'm full health. I'm like, yeah, let's go.
Hi, I have 1 hit point.
Don't you have a potion? Next
Yeah,
turn you
I'm
gotta
sorry.
chug
I
that.
saved some people.
She has been pretty selfless.
I know. So when I get there, I'm gonna be like, now it's your turn. You go drink a potion, and I'm gonna
Shove the
stab.
potion down the throat.
No, I'm gonna stand in front of you because you stood in front of me. And
Valandro, what would you like to do?
Oh, he's totally gonna finish climbing up to the top, get another arrow ready. And so, which one is focused? Both of them are still doing their little pincer maneuver.
Yes, and the one that that has the arrow sticking out of the head is on the side away from the building, and the one that shot lightning at them is on between the building and Quinn.
So, is the one with the arrow in its head in my line of sight?
Yes, they both are because you've got an amazing angle. You've got a +1 angle.
You know, like every movie.
Things are finally looking up. Yes. Valandril's gonna take an arrow, notch it, get ready to fire, and just
Knock, not notch, knock.
no. He's gonna notch it.
Okay.
He's gonna create the Minecraft, and he's gonna just shout out real fast, "Hey, Puck!
I like it.
Shoot an arrow." And so 26
Yeah, it hits.
Wow, that's pretty big.
Nice.
Damage.
with 7 damage.
Nice.
With the one
Where
with
do
the
you-
arrow or the other one?
Well, with the arrow.
Nice.
Where do you see that impacting?
His target right now would be looking to get it right in a similar spot, if not on it, to try to really take advantage of the weak point.
I'd say with the 24, you drove it in right next to it. He's now got what looks like I don't know.
Antennae or something
Yeah, a
like
pair
that.
of them sticking out. Yeah. And you said 7 on that?
Yeah.
Nice.
And then if that taunt counts for anything, I can
Well,
roll intimidation.
It doesn't affect his hit points at all, but I think emotionally he's scarred.
Emotionally, he's scarred.
I don't think it passed without a problem.
It was just down a second ago, and now it's making fun of me.
I don't like these guys. They're mean.
We just wanted to talk with them, and now they're shooting arrows at us.
The one that just took a shit.
In the middle of
Shot.
Yes.
And that's his action. So
This is like, oh, hold on, guys. Hold on. That's hilarious.
if you were a dragon, you'd understand.
Ron, now's not a time to take a poo.
So we're gonna kill these guys? Like, hold on. That's funny.
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. So that wormling that just took a shot from Valandril
Yeah?
is now going to stare down at Quinn, and you're too far away, and take another bite attack out of rage and anger. And he does that with, let's put it here so you can see it. $14.
Oh?
Oh. Are we erring on the side side of the DM or the side of the player in this campaign? Because my AC is 14.
Yeah, so it's a hit, right? It's always that.
Oh, you can take it.
You're safe on the other side of it.
Okay.
Bite
Bite's
is
like
a D10 plus 3.
Great.
You were saying something.
Bite from smaller creatures is like a 1d4, so I guess, the bigger they get, the bigger the bite does.
Like,
I guess.
I guess that makes sense
That
logically.
makes logical sense, Brad.
You take 5 points of damage.
Okay.
Oh no.
The other wormling, whose turn it is now, turns and faces the two of you, and I'm going to need you to roll again because you're side by side. Highest number's getting attacked.
Dang it. Alright. 2! Beat that!
Yes.
I just got up, I'm like, here we go.
He hides him back.
You see him looking at the two of you
Yeah.
briefly before he decides, and then takes a bite at Grant, and he rolls a... What is it?
A 4.
Plus 5 is a 9. That's a miss, and the snap right next to you makes that reverberating, scary sound.
Free action, just total in-character thing. As he snaps, I slap him on the nose just with my hand. Just like, no!
Yep.
Bad dog.
He's done it twice. This is the second time, so like, bad! And I smack him on the nose.
Yep. I would lock that in as actual. That happened.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Hey, I'm walking in. Don't you try to bite me in the bag.
All right, the wormlings have used their bites, and it's back to Quinn.
Okay. Alright, this wormling in front of me has 2 arrows sticking out of its head, doesn't it?
Yeah.
No.
did the other
Okay,
one
like
walk
that.
away, or did it just turn around?
Turned around to deal with you two. So you still have one on each side of you, but it's kind of like a train. One's trying to bite you, the other's trying to bite
I
them.
hope it doesn't
Okay,
shot on,
Can I-
on its turn.
can I, try and cut the other one's tail off and get advantage because I'm attacking it from behind it?
Yeah.
He sounds real unsure.
I'm gonna attack the one that's turned towards her, so it doesn't. So
I get it.
does that?
It doesn't affect anything. The cutting the tail off part, I mean, clearly that's a little wonky because it's just that we're just doing damage to.
I just want to attack it. If
Yeah.
if I can.
And if the tail's where you're
aiming.
aiming, I'm gonna say yeah, and I'll look that up too. Let me write these things I'm gonna look up down. on break.
Okay.
Take it.
Okay.
Okay.
So 23.
Yep.
Ooh, yes.
Ba-boom. Or Snicker Snack.
Snickers.
Yeah, that one.
Snickers snack. Yes.
Run! Boy.
13 damage. Thank you very much.
Yes.
That's good.
Oh! Finally got it.
Wow, nice. They don't seem phased at all. But you are definitely doing some, you can tell you're giving them some stabbings.
Hacking at the tip, just.
Yeah. You've fought creatures together before, and you're used to seeing a lot of blood and stuff coming out by now. But keep going. You're doing good.
So, I want to make sure that I can see both of them after that happens.
You totally have enough movement to do exactly that same maneuver again.
Okay, yes.
I picture this as an action movie that has the camera looking at a different action for 6 seconds, and that's kind of happening. And I can totally picture yours ending like that, where you're doing the thing back like this. But normally they'd cut in 2 seconds of reaction to getting hit, but we're not going to actually see that until the wormlings come back around.
Okay.
He'll have to react to your nose smack as well. All right.
Bad puppy.
Monolith. Monolith, Janet Tammy.
Okay, so I'm gonna go first this time. And I'm gonna step in front of Janet Tammy and be like, hey, you're not looking so hot. You should drink one of the potions we found, eh? And let me just stab this guy real quick. And then I'm gonna stab him.
Stab, stab.
Stabby, stabby. Roll the hit for special dagger. Oh, not looking too hot. 12.
That's a null.
That's a null.
Null.
So miss with the special dagger, dang it. Non-special dagger. 20.
Boom.
Alright. So, are the enemies within 5 feet of each other?
No, they're on either side of a critter.
But I am close to her.
Does that count if I'm next to him? Did we do that already?
Yeah, we said we were going to do that until I
Okay.
find out otherwise.
Yeah. Okay, so 1d4 plus 3. Alright, 5 plus 5 total. And then this is the d6. 8 damage.
All right. Boy, this is the one without the arrows, the one that's dealing damage to you two. This one is taking all the hits. The one with the arrow, the 2 arrows sticking out, those are his 2 hits. That one, the other one's like whack, whack, cut, whack, boom, punch, jam.
Would it be a perception check to see, like, obviously, like, how bloody they are? Like, not fairy, right?
You could make, if you want to use your action to perceive, you could do that, or you'd probably kind of be investigating a little bit.
But, like, that
That's
would be my, like,
that's
action.
totally your action.
Okay.
You couldn't. Yeah, you know what? I would say that the amount of detail that I gave would be what all of you would see just glancing around in battle.
Okay.
Not stopping everything and taking a close look around for 6 seconds would be what you already saw.
Okay. Guys, I don't really know about this. I think we should probably get out of here. And then I'm going to take a swing with my sickle at the big boy in front of me.
Got
Large boy.
The large boy.
it. Roll for large boy attack.
A nat 20.
Ooh,
Hey!
that does indeed hit.
That's the way to do it.
Are you sure?
Let me double
Are
check.
we?
Double check.
Yes. In 5e.
4 plus
8.
4, 8 plus 6.
8 plus
16.
4.
22.
Wait, hold on. You say 8
Wait,
plus
wait.
6?
Wait. Yeah, 8.
14.
I did 8, and then 6, but it's 8 plus 6.
Yeah,
It's 14.
Yeah.
there it is.
Look, guys, art school. Come on.
That's fair. You take math yet? Oh.
I hope so.
I'm talking here because it's like algebra 1.
It's like intermediate algebra. It's not even algebra.
Yeah,
It's
it's
like
not even
arithmetic.
algebra 1.
Oh,
They go
wait.
From like,
So, speaking of which, if you were to see now the amount of damage that was done after that strike, you would say, wow, you still look pretty good for all this damage.
Alright, when is the DMPC gonna come in and kill them, huh? When's that happening? That should happen soon.
Good luck, guys.
Bye! Oh,
I'm
man.
waiting. Sebastian! What do I gotta do? Do I gotta talk to my blood? Sebastian!
Why would you ask him?
I don't know, he's powerful.
No, we don't talk to him.
Also, he can't even hear us with our bracelets.
Oh, dang it, we cut him off.
Bellinger.
Ah, take my
So,
break for
in
that.
response to Janet Tammy, he would easily speak out to her and say, "We're not leaving this town." Wow. And with it, he knocks another arrow
Yeah.
and full on freaking loses it with a 24.
Yep.
Oof.
That hits wherever you want to hit.
Oh yeah, he's looking to do a nice little split of his previous arrow, just to really show that, he's coming into his stride.
Yeah.
And we are, we are looking at 11 damage.
Nice.
Well, see, we
So
got
which
last
one's the
time.
one with the arrow?
Nice.
Keeping it consistent.
You were 11 with the crossbow. He was 7 with the. You were 7 with the. 11 crossbow, 7 longbow, and then 11 longbow. You've got
Gotcha.
2 of the arrows protruding are a little longer than the crossbow bolt is sticking out, but all 3 of them. Well, actually, it looks like 4 because the one split. So there's the
It's a
one
solid
solid,
grouping.
the 2 split,
go.
and then the crossbow just
You
below
get a
it.
good score at a shooting range.
I will say that he's going to need some Excedrin. It's going to be a headache.
So could you shoot me somewhere else, please?
I got
My head
shoulders.
I got shoulders, I got stomach, I got a tail. You can shoot my tail. That hurts.
And then just to really top it off, being the punk 18-year-old he is, he's just going to shout at the dragon, "Eat arrows, Scaly!"
Oh my god.
Burn. Electric burn.
Well, somebody already wasted her one F-bomb of the stream.
Sorry.
Just casually. Just
Quinn
like,
is gonna turn and look at Valinger like, "That's all you got? That's it?"
What have you
With that, both wormlings roar into the air. Probably because of what you said. And attack the closest adventurer to each of them.
Still not me. Wasn't it me?
In the case of the arrowed one, that's going to be Quinn again.
You guys, did you not do it?
And
You didn't take
I am a fighter. I am not a tank.
I'm only doing this here because I
I
would lie about it and not hurt you if I wasn't doing it publicly. So this is a 3 plus 5 is an 8. That misses. That bite misses you. The other bite that's coming after you two is coming from the one whose tail you just whacked. So before he does an attack, he's going to turn around and go. Can I get all 3 of you to roll a d6? The highest number's getting attacked.
Oh, poor.
This is what I get for climbing buildings.
It's me.
Yeah.
I got a 2.
I got 3.
I got a 6.
Right under your nose.
All right.
I don't know.
The
if
one
it's
time I
talking
didn't
to
want
me.
to roll well.
And it's up.
16.
Yeah, that hits.
4.
All right, and it's a d10 plus 4.
All right. Well, I'm dead. Bye, guys.
D10
No,
plus
he
3.
hasn't rolled yet. He hasn't rolled yet.
That's a 1, by the way. This is my d10, so it's a 1.
Ah. Okay.
So it's a 4. You take 4 points of damage. Are you done?
No.
Okay.
You were at full before, right?
All right,
Yeah.
both wormlings have made their attack,
Too stubborn to die.
and that takes us back to the
Have
top
you
where
drank your potion
Quinn
yet?
is filled with rage.
Oh, cheap glug glug.
I mean, figuratively
You
speaking,
know,
not
sometimes,
Thumbs up,
yeah, I
please.
sometimes wish I was barbarian so I could do the rage thing.
actual rage.
Yeah, actual rage. But
I'm raging in my heart.
yes, I am raging in my heart. All right, I'm gonna since he's turned towards me, he just took this massive bite out of me. Well, it could have been worse, but I'm gonna try and smack him back like he did the bad puppy thing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna smack him back like, hey, how dare you?
Flat end of your sword, just like.
Yeah, just bat him on the head.
Honestly, let's train these and then we can keep them for pets.
Do they look friendly to you?
That's
never
what their
know.
training comes in.
Exactly.
Gotta teach them.
Oh well.
Teach them by killing them. Then they'll be the best pets.
Perfect.
I didn't
Just
I'm-
carry a corpse
I'm-
around.
I'm-
with
Don't
them.
you want to talk about it?
It's
No,
my
I don't wanna
pet
talk about it.
dragon. And it was like, oh,
Does
these
that-
people are
It
insane.
was like a 10.
Does that complete your turn?
I miss again, and I just like. Apparently, I'm holding my sword in my bad hand, and I'm just like.
Which is the bad one? Is that your shield arm?
It's my left hand.
So you're supposed to be. All right. I forgot about our disadvantage.
No, I'm just saying I'm rolling really bad.
Yeah, no, I get it. I just mean also in the game sense. It's been like 3 episodes since I even thought once about your
Oh
shield
yeah,
arm.
yeah.
Yep.
Anything I do, I have to roll a disadvantage with that hand.
I like that. That completes Quinn's turn, and Monolith, it's on you.
Okay.
Hey.
I, as a free action, look back to Jane and Tammy and be like, hey, you can drink that potion anytime soon? You all look so good. Because she didn't do it last time. So I'm like, somebody's gonna die. And then, guess what?
Stabby.
I want to stab me.
Stabby!
He finally got the combat he wanted.
Yes.
This is what
And
I'm
now we're all
talking
gonna
about.
die.
Not the one where like I miss and then I stab one and then I run away and I
And
come
then
back
you try
and-
hiding when somebody's staring right at you.
Right. Listen, last time I played D&D, that's what somebody did. They just kept being like, I attack, I hide, I attack, I hide. And I
That's
was like,
terrible.
that doesn't make sense, but I guess it's allowed. Okay.
Well, when your stealth is 100.
Right, of course. First one, that's a 13. That's a miss.
It goes scraping off of the scales.
It's always the special one that sucks. And then an 18 for the non-special one.
Hits.
I don't know. Okay. It's cocked.
It is cool.
No, it's not. Okay. Okay. Okay, a 5 plus 1, so a 6.
Was that last one the stealth?
Mm-hmm. So 1 stealth, and then 5 dagger. Sneak attack.
Bit her turned and looking. It decided between the three of you.
And it chose her.
Chose her. Yep, turn back to you. You got stealth.
Okay.
So what's that number?
It was a 1.
So what's the total?
I said it, but it was a 2 plus 3, 5 plus 1, 6.
Got it.
And then I use my bonus action. My bonus, what's it called? No. What's
Movement?
Yeah, it's a bonus something. Cunning action.
Mm.
I use my cunning action to disengage and like go away from this dragon.
Isn't that an action?
I think
Well, I can take a dash, action as my cunning. My cunning action.
because it's a bonus action.
I just get to do a thing at the end of my turn,
Yep.
so I just dash away from it.
Okay. Let me just make sure this. Let me see how bad this is
Uh oh.
for him, for the
Oh.
for the bad guys.
Okay. Good. Bad for them. I'm happy. Yeah. I got 2 weapon fighting.
All right. Hold on, everybody. Hold on.
Holding.
Whoa, guys. Whoa.
Okay, I made a mistake.
Oh.
I mean,
no.
I didn't make the mistake until the 6 points that you did, and really, it was probably the stealth. The stealth was only 1.
Mm-hmm.
It was just before the stealth that you killed this creature. So, what exactly did you do that was so badass?
Okay. I've been thinking about this. So, the dragon, is it turned towards her?
Yeah, it was, and then and that's when you get your
It was
stealth on
biting
it.
at her, and she just missed. So, I run up to the dragon, like I just sprint, and then I jump on top of its head, and like I'm on its neck, and I go to stab with the one dagger, and it misses, but then I take the other one, and I just like shove it into his eye. I just go like all the way up to the wrist. And then I yank it out and immediately vomit. And I jump
Wait, like,
off real
onto
quick.
the dragon.
Yeah, like I'm like, oh god, because there's like an eyeball stuck to my dagger. I'm like, oh, get it off, oh god. And I jump off real quick, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna be sick. Somebody take that. Somebody.
Wait, am I close enough?
I don't know.
'Cause I would totally grab that eyeball off your dagger and just eat it.
Stop! Why would you do that?
There's plenty of time for eating after the battle. That's awesome. I just keep in mind, and this is just for additional fun, while you're up there and you're doing all this, there's this sense of static electricity all about the entire thing. And when you drive your blade into the eyeball, you feel a connection, like a surge passing through your body and reconnecting with the corpse that's now underneath you. And all of that, all at once, like a light switch, just flicks off, and you're holding a bulb or a ball and dry heaving and
Yeah.
so beautiful. I love that. Good kill.
Thank you.
All right,
Fantastic. I approve.
Janet Tammy.
So that one's dead, right?
Totally. It's a corpse on the ground, and there's now Mr. 3 Arrow that is just on the other side of Quinn,
How far? Like she's only
within melee range.
Like Lugo
And with-
behind me.
There's a corpse between you and her, and a corpse and her between you and the other wormling.
Okay, so like
So it goes you, corpse, her, wormling.
Okay. So I'm going to walk up next to Quinn, and then I guess I'm gonna chug my healing potion because I'll die if I don't.
Okay, your action's to take that. You're gonna roll your d4.
Yeah.
I just want to hear how much you're getting.
I could do the 4d4 plus 4
Yeah,
roll.
can you? Huzzah! 10 plus 4, 14.
No, that is the plus. That is plus 4.
Great!
So
That
just 10.
sucks.
Yeah.
And that's it. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
You stole my joke.
You got that for me today. All right. Janet Tammy took a little bit of health potion, probably shook it a little bit and made it a little pinker than normal and chugged it down. And then it becomes Valandril's turn.
I give my dice all the love before my turn even starts.
Mm-hmm.
And so, with that,
Maybe that's a problem.
that I need to go
It
now.
feels suffocated.
He needs room to breathe. It needs to see other people.
So that's going to be 18 in this case. If I remember, it was a
It hits.
fantasy 17.
Oh, it is.
And
Look up the
so,
fantasy library.
Valandril taking one more arrow from his quiver. Now, quiver's getting a little light. He's fired quite a few arrows successfully. It's going to pull it back, take a bit of time to aim. He's not going to say any kind of weird quip this time. He's in the zone now.
Mm-hmm.
There's a focus about him. And he looses the arrow for... If I can find it. Well, I rolled a 1, but a +4. That's going to be 5. That's still good damage.
Better than a 0?
There.
Let's just
Yeah.
say there were a lot of 4s and 6s that took down that first monster.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah.
keep them coming.
A lot of 4s.
So that arrow lands just with quite a heroic thud. I mean, good job pulling it back like that. And the damage that's done. Let's just say that all of a sudden it realizes where the ouches are coming from. there was a pesky pain that was hard to identify, but it's now identified.
And then am I allowed to use my potion at that moment?
No, that's a full action.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
figured as much.
But
Just-
you have all
just
your
had to be sure.
movement. Yeah.
Yeah. So in terms of, you know what? He's going to stay where he's now staring down a dragon. Well, Wormlink. He's staring down a Wormling right now, and as they make eye contact, he kind of does the, yeah, it's been me this whole time. What are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
And now we're about to find out what he's going to do about it.
Yep.
It's the Wormling's turn. With eye contact being made with Valandril and sentences passing between them, it seems, he launches with his back, giant back feet off of the ground, launches in the air towards you.
Do we get attack of opportunities on this one?
Only if you take them.
Yeah!
I'll
Do
take
we
one.
both get it?
I'll take one, please.
Yeah,
Thank you. Yes.
everybody earned their reaction.
Yes.
Even Grant is within 5.
Reaction! I want to stab him.
Do we get advantage because it's?
No, you get advantage in a sense because there's 3 of you that get a chance to hit him.
Okay.
I got a 21.
That's a hit.
Am I using both my daggers?
Are you only
No, a
one?
reaction's a single hit. I mean, a reaction that is an attack of opportunity.
I
is a
was
single hit.
17 then with my special dagger.
That's a hit. You
Alright.
get it. You get all the extra points and everything.
9 points of damage.
Dadgum.
And then
Yeehaw, Jen Tammy.
Yeehaw.
3 plus
More like
4,
Janet
so
Damon.
7 on
You've
the
already
dagger.
made that joke.
And sneak
Well,
attacks, I'm
he's about to be
throwing that.
monolit.
7 plus 1 again. That's 8.
Had that
Nice.
one up my sleeve.
All right. All right.
You've activated my trap.
There are no weak cards in my grandpa's deck, Kaima.
We did this last time.
I know, I'm gonna keep bringing it back.
Come on, think of better jokes.
This is a
Let's
running
go.
joke.
No, that was
now.
solid gold. I enjoyed it. You do that every other episode. It's good stuff. Let me do a little bit of math.
There he is, Eglonia.
You win.
He took off from the ground, looking like an imposing enemy. After taking a narrow miss and then a whack and a whack, impressive whacks, by the way, you see a bloodied wormling, an enemy that's taken a substantial amount of damage, launching from the ground and aiming towards you. And it's at that moment, bloodied though it may be, that it launches towards the roof, grabs onto the roof with its front feet, and bite attacks.
I'm like, uh-oh, that's not good.
Oh yeah, no, 16.
Yep.
You're a 14, I'm a 16.
I've got +5.
Well, spell my doom. How much is the advantage
We have to
your
climb
damage?
up there to get him.
His
You mean
death-
what
Give me a
damage do I
med pack,
have?
I can climb up.
Well, no, what's the advantage on it anyway?
I
What's
got good
the-
acrobatics.
I've got one more
Just
spell.
do
Plus
this.
what?
Just do this.
5, plus
Launch
5.
launch
It doesn't
somebody
matter.
off here.
It doesn't
I
matter
can
what you
literally
roll.
lift you up with
You
my
guys got the
hands.
strength.
I
You
see.
guys got strength.
It does not matter
I'll
what
put
he
you
rolls
up there.
right now.
That's fair.
Valandril's down.
No
Unless-
way.
Yep.
There's no way that the max amount would put you at double, right? So I can't kill you for real. All right, so you're unconscious. Let's do that for fun. Yep, there you
Oh.
go. From the top of the roof where you'd been doing copious amounts of damage, the wormling lands, bites down on you, wriggles its neck around a little bit, doing that damage, and releases a limp Valandril on the roof.
I mean,
which
even though it does
the
nothing,
three
he's
of
trying to
you,
punch his face.
the three of you are able to see this from the ground. You are able to see Valandril fall from his jaws and land limp on the roof. He has more movement. He's going to jump up from that and land right back down among the two of you where he took his damage. And he's going to, for his interaction, he's going to give a little roar. And that's going to be it.
Is the little
How
Muppet roar? Is a
cute.
little rawr?
He's probably kind of more furious that his friend is dead and he's been almost damaged to the point of near death. He'd probably be a lot more serious and angry sounding if he wasn't so close to, well.
He has a dragon voice
Okay.
crack in his roar. My bad.
I'm only
Little
14.
baby. Little baby whirling. His voice
Weird.
cracks.
We're killing a child.
Hey, just not all children are good.
He roars. If you still have the eyeball, I'm
Yeah.
gonna take it and eat it.
Stop! Why are you trying to eat the
Throw it at him.
I'm
eyeball?
trying to
Yeah.
intimidate this thing.
That's-
It's not working.
He's just gonna be like, ew, that's nasty.
Yeah, for real.
What's wrong with you? Cook it.
Quinn, it's on you.
Okay. Look, I haven't done any serious damage this round. Like, I gotta
is
do
it.
something.
This is it. You're gonna chop its head off. Wait, I don't know if you can. Yeah, I don't know. Like,
Can I do that?
that?
That's a 22.
Oh, that hits?
Ooh.
Okay.
There we go. We got a hit.
Stop it. Okay, 11.
That was pretty good.
Walk us through this fatality.
Hey!
Yes!
Yes! Okay. So this thing has like landed in front of me. It's just like standing in front of me, right?
Yep.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna. Its head is gonna be level with me, right?
Mhm.
It's already okay. I'm gonna flip my sword over so the pommel is facing it. Take the pommel and beat one of the arrows into its brain.
Yeah.
Just straight up, just take the pommel and hammer it into its brain.
Ah.
Just this is what you get for killing my friends. Really, I'm just looking for an excuse to be excessively violent.
No,
Okay.
that was
Yeah,
like
yeah.
almost artistic in its violence. So very good, yeah. And with that, he collapses to the ground. I would say that much like what Monolith was sensing in those final moments, you're right up in there with the beast and his electric current, and you're feeling that to a certain extent, and you also feel it extinguish in a moment. And then you're standing on just a corpse, on meat.
I'm like standing on top of its head, and I'm like, "Rah!" like screaming at
You're
it.
gonna pull out its eyeballs and eat them?
Ugh.
I'm intimidating.
No, look.
I promise.
Now that's too much work because
Gotcha.
I've already like hammered the arrow into it.
Quinn is dead. You can't intimidate a dead body. What's going on?
Is Valandril okay up there? Has anybody?
Okay,
Is he
yeah.
down?
Yeah.
I
Alright,
could,
he's down.
I could climb up there. Anybody got a med pack? I can heal him or something.
A med pack won't wake him up.
It'll stabilize him though.
Yeah, we can stabilize him, and then you can.
What are we gonna do? Walk
Here.
the rest of the way with him over our shoulder?
Alright, look.
on his person.
You hear a spectral voice in the wind floating
Like,
towards you.
listen, we just gotta stabilize him. Like that's. It doesn't matter if he wakes up. We can leave him up there.
Quinn heaves a sigh and just like goes to climb the wall of the roof.
Okay.
Can
You know,
Just
while
gonna-
my mom
Easy
told me
enough.
that
Straight up
dragons,
gonna climb it.
No problem.
Were
Can you-
very
Okay.
Can you lift
I
me
get
up
up
there?
there
Do you want me to?
I
you
get
lift me?
him
Yeah.
and I dig around for his health potion because I noticed that he hasn't used it yet.
Mhm.
And upon finding it, I like grab his nose and tilt his head back and pour it down his throat.
Does that work?
Yeah, and all of it goes in. There are a few moments where it looks like it might spill out, so you got to kind of close your lips and The last of it gurgles down, causes him to pop back, and
Want me to roll your 4?
Hook me up, Grant. What am I doing?
17.
Wow, that's overhealing.
You got 3, 3, 4, 3 plus 4.
That's awesome.
Very
That's
well done.
insane.
Wow.
this sounds like one of those dice you put in the oven to me.
This is a totally random. It's from Wizards of the Coast.
I got a 10.
I paid them.
I paid them.
Actually, it's from Wizards of the Coast 2005.
Oh.
This website hasn't been updated in a long time.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Oh wow!
That's like the Captain Marvel
fantastic,
website.
actually.
Yeah.
Very old.
Well, while my mama told me that dragons were very dangerous, they also told me that their scales are very useful. And while
Useful?
we have 2 of them, 2 worm boys right here.
Valuable?
Boys.
Possibly. So I would
start
like
scaling
to
them.
try and take some of their skin.
Yeah.
Fair
I'll
enough.
help you with that. Definitely, I'm down for skinning a worm or 2.
Absolutely.
Well, that works out well. You two lean over one of the corpses, and in that very moment, you hear the sound of what sounds like a flag in a hurricane, or the sound
We
of
gotta go.
sails.
I don't want to do this
We're
again.
not doing this again.
And at that moment, you realize that you were engaged in a battle right here at this one building, while similar battles were happening all around you, and 3 blue wormlings are now flying towards you.
Can we please get out of here? I don't even care
Can we
anymore.
just-
I'm afraid you
Let's
can't,
go.
because right now we're going on break.
Oh.
But we'll be
Live
back.
and let live.
We'll be back from break in hopefully just 10 minutes, and when we get back, we'll see how much longer they live. All right, thanks.
Goodbye.
Welcome back, everybody. We're having so much fun, we started to play without you. But since you might want to watch also, we'll go ahead and pick it up with you here as well. Last we left off, our heroes were trying to decide how many health potions they had.
The answer is none.
I thought we had extras. Like we picked up the crate and we got more than 4.
We dropped
we're
2. There were
straight up.
6 and we dropped 2.
No,
there
we
were
didn't.
like 8.
Didn't
No,
you drop
we
2?
we have extras. We're selling them because we're poor.
Oh.
I mean, in last case scenario, we can use them.
Okay, that's
should
last
we get
case
attacked.
scenario. We have another choice here. Let's leave.
Yeah, here's first case scenario. We have a horde of dragons coming our way. Let's run.
Yeah.
Where? Okay, where?
How about we kick down one of those doors leading into a building?
That sounds rude. That's somebody's house.
Is it? Do you want to be rude or do you want to be dead?
These are all good questions. And when we were talking about health potions, I felt like we were out of character because in character, 3 wormlings are bearing down on you, and they're coming at such a pace you don't really have time to have many
Oh,
conversations.
that's fair. Yeah.
And so with that, they're now upon you, and you see of the 3 of them, the 2 on the outer, they're in kind of a phalanx formation. The 2 on the outside are opening their mouths, and there's a bright white light that's filling both of them. And it's at that moment that right behind you, a door bursts open.
Here it comes.
Here it comes.
The NPC?
Just sit tight and wait.
Oh, DM Jason, please save us.
A golden dragonborn who you think you recognize comes. Well, he's not bursting out of the door like a hero. He's very reluctantly and very kind of sadly dragging his feet out of the door. You recognize this face because it's the same one that Balazar showed you with his cantrip. You've seen this face before, except when you saw the face, it was stoic and maybe even a little noble looking. But this one looks haggard, beat, maybe drunk. And he staggers a few steps forward, and he looks up, curses in a language that some of you might understand
Anybody speak Draconic?
in Draconic.
I speak Druidic.
That's not Draconic.
Practically, it's the same family.
Yeah, you know, it sounds similar, so you know, I just kind of thought.
I
Did he say anything in Gnomish?
I speak Elvish and I speak Orcish. I don't.
Primordial. Not
Gnomish is undercommon.
Well, it's a brief passing moment, a curse in Draconic, and then a flash like you haven't seen, a brightness in a bright day that blinds you like a sun couldn't. And as your eyes clear, they clear just in time for you to see 3 corpses hit the ground, boom, 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 and an angry, sullen, maybe staggering, golden dragonborn turn around and walk back into the building.
I follow.
As you step inside, it's a dark room. The shuttered windows haven't been opened yet, and it takes a minute for your eyes to adjust. Not just the brightness from outside, but that spell was epic.
I'm like staggering after him, like rubbing my eyes. Like, whoa, okay, all right, yes.
Let's just roll for perception so I can see exactly how much you can see with that.
Like 10.
Well, yeah, I mean, it makes sense, too. It's really bright out, and you're in a very dark room. While you're standing there and squinting around, it's hard to tell exactly what you're seeing, but there's certainly some figures hunched over tables, a few people huddled in the corner, not sure that the danger is gone yet. And at that moment, a few of the windows begin to open, and light begins to stream into what is normally what appears to be a beach hut. It's got a thatch roof. It's got wood for the floor and wood for the walls. But when it's not shuttered and closed, it doesn't look like a dark cave. It looks like an open air place where you could sit and have a drink. So it doesn't take long for life to come back. And I don't know where the rest of you are, but if you're anywhere close enough to the wormling carcasses, locals have gathered around the 3 that fell together. And nobody's come near the 2 that you guys knocked out of the sky. I believe that 3 of you are still standing next to them.
Can I take a look around to see if there's any present danger? Like, obviously, I can see that people are coming out and stuff, but I just want to do a quick glance in the air and stuff.
Yeah. You're going to do an investigation. You're specifically looking for danger.
18.
So you did a really good job of looking, like a superhuman good job of looking around. And you're not sensing the kind of danger that you were just dealing with. As your eyes pass over the various people, you notice a few of them that might not look necessarily legal or above board or necessarily the kind of people Janet Tammy would consider hanging out with. They look a little more cutthroaty, cross between a pirate and a highwayman. You can tell that they're happy taking your money and maybe your life on land or in the water. But the kind of danger that you're looking for, monster style, you're not seeing anything.
Okay. Can I continue what I was doing with the dragon scales?
Absolutely. We're out of combat because of your perception. There's no perceived danger, and you guys are feeling that way as well. We left Val in... Valendril, you were on the roof?
Well, I believe Quinn pulled him down with her. Like, they would have gone down at the same time.
Okay.
He got healed. He's going down. He's kind of like... He's not mad about what happened. I mean, let's face it. Things were pretty much in his favor until the very last moment.
You were a badass. You were.
I mean, honestly, a quick little note. I thought that their attacks was going to end it. So it's like intimidation. They come and they're like, ah! But of course not. I can't get my way. So at this moment, Valendril's just kind of looking around. So we've identified that the people coming out aren't exactly the most savory of individuals, correct?
I would say that. I would have said that had I thought of the word savory.
So as Janet Tammy is now focused upon the dragons, or the worms, should I say, Valendril's just going to kind of watch. But do that kind of watch that's making people know that, hey, I was one of the 4 who just took these down. Don't you dare try a thing.
There's a building that Quinn is in. It has a porch. You're kind of off the porch if you're near the fallen corpses that you're responsible for. Is that where you are?
Yeah.
Okay. Quinn, you're inside this structure, and you've got a pretty good view of it now with the windows open. I'm not going to have you roll again with light, but I will say that now it's easy to find the golden dragonborn that you followed in. He's back at a bar. You didn't even see him there. It's as if he was seated at the bar by the time you stumbled in after him. That's his spot.
Oh, okay.
He is hunched over his spot, and he is surrounded by what looks like a collection of earthenware mugs. Hard to tell what he's drinking, but you can certainly see that he's not surrounded by people or friends.
Okay, well, I'm gonna sit down next to him.
You do.
Okay.
He does not react in any way, shape, or form.
Is there a bartender behind the bar?
Yes.
Okay. Can I get a drink?
Behind the bar, you see a elven woman. She seems much older than the kind of elves that might normally work behind a bar or in an area like this. You're used to seeing elves like this in nicer places. But here she is. She's got some age on her, and this is where she's working.
Okay. I'm gonna kind of call her attention. Like, excuse me. Hello.
Hello.
And I greet her in Elvish.
Oh, she answers in Elvis.
Can I get a drink?
What are you having?
What do you got that's really strong?
Well, really strong. She pulls out a brown bottle, and it's filled with a liquid that looks almost exactly like the liquid that you've been drinking for the last couple of days.
Yes.
Do you
Some of
have
this?
that anymore?
It's
There's like 3 bottles.
yeah, it's in my backpack, but I'm making friends with the bartender.
Gotcha.
One for me and one for my friend here.
I'll pour you 2, and you can decide what to do with the other.
Okay.
Sets down a couple of them. Yep. They're not served in the same earthenware mugs that you see around the Dragonborn. They come to you in they seem to be kind of a metal that is fused with glass. So it's like a metal and a glass combination.
Okay.
Maybe it's used for the finer liquors. It's hard to tell.
Okay. I toss one back. set the glass down, and then I turned to the Dragonborn, and kind of looked at him, kind of evaluate him a little bit, and like, so, what's your story? Oh no, I know that look.
I sense that you know my story.
I might know bits and pieces, but I'd rather hear it from you and not somebody else.
I'm tired of playing these games. I'm done.
Okay. Done with what?
Adventures, Sebastian, that golden-skinned jerk that sent you after me.
Well, you seem to know more about us than we know about you.
I know a lot about people like you.
Alright. So what is he actually after?
He's after what's on your little map you've got tucked somewhere. The orb. You're all after the orb. I'm after the orb.
What are
Balazar's after the orb.
What are you after the orb for? What does it do?
Tired of this.
Look, maybe we can help you. You don't look like you're a threat to us, and you just saved us from a bunch of flying death.
I saved you from nothing.
There are corpses outside to prove you wrong.
I saved myself. That's what I
Okay.
do.
Well, self-preservation is a good motivator. What does the orb have to do with that? A buzz comes down from the heavens.
He shakes his head and makes an odd noise.
That was me.
What did you say?
As a self-preservation is a perfectly normal goal to have. What does the orb have to do with it? You saved yourself, so obviously you're motivated by something that has to do with you. How is the orb going to help you do that? Especially if you know someone's coming after you if you go and get it.
These are all really good questions.
Yeah, sometimes when I'm sober I do that.
You
I drink
should
the other
drink
drink
more.
and stack the glasses and pass them back to the nice bartender.
He drinks from one of his earthenware mugs. You don't get the sense that it's in any sense of camaraderie, but it's time for him to take a drink. Well,
Are we in there now, or
I don't know.
I
Up to you.
don't know. Have you like wandered over?
I'm still pickpocketing scales?
Okay.
Don't even make me
How
sing
are
things.
pickpocketing scales? You're
You know what
literally
I
just
mean.
ripping them off of the
Yeah.
corpses,
As a
and you call me gross.
figure of speech. I'm not eating eyeballs. I'm making bank. I'm getting that money. I think. I mean, I don't know how much dragon scales are worth. I can't find them in the equipment.
Well, let's handle some harvesting then. We'll leave you two in the midst of your gripping conversation, and you with your scowling at the vagabonds. And while the scowling is protecting you from the vagabonds, you guys can do your job of harvesting. You're harvesting scales.
Scales.
All right.
I'm harvesting scales. I don't know what.
You too.
Yeah.
All
Just a
right.
couple
So
of
you've
them.
each got your own your own wormling, and now we're gonna do a. I think this is gonna be a wilderness or a
Nature.
survival.
We should do survival.
I hear what you're saying.
I
I
think
hear.
we
I
should
love.
do-
I love the input because it's so important.
I'm gonna do a greed roll for avarice.
Intimidation?
I'm intimidating these skills off. I'm like, I will cut you out, and then it's like.
You shocked him.
I think they're shock resistant.
Resistant to lightning.
We'll take all the air out of my joke.
First, tell me what you would like to do, just so I know I'm not making a mistake here, or a big mistake. It'll probably be a mistake, but I want to minimize the size.
I don't know about how you would take scales off a dragon.
No. I know. That part's a little ephemeral. I mean more like, what do you want to have accomplished at the end of this task? What do you want to be holding?
At the end of this task, I want to be holding like 5 scales and like a tooth.
Hey, yeah, I want the same thing. I want like the fangs.
Fangs and
like
scales.
5-ish scales.
All right.
And a claw.
Can I get advantage on my roll because I know how to skin animals?
knowing how to skin like a cow is different than knowing how to skin a dragon, I think.
So this might not be right, but I'm going to. I'm picking medicine this time, and I'll go change it later. But I'm doing this like veterinary medicine is how I'm thinking of this. So
Dang it.
go ahead, choose your medicine, and first we're going to try for teeth. I guess this should
First
be
for teeth?
veterinary dental medicine.
Actually, no matter what, it
Dental.
was +1. It doesn't matter what you would picked. I'm in the same boat.
No advantage.
No, this creature is not like the kind you've dealt with before. I feel like I want to say yeah, but I'm just not gonna.
9.
Aight.
Did you just say eight?
Yeah.
17.
Oh,
17. Okay.
7.
Unfortunately, as you're digging in there with your tools, all of the teeth snap. The fangs pop, fang pop, and the rest of them, it's like they start to crumble. You get the sense that the electricity may have had something to do with keeping it all together. Who knows?
This is absolutely
knows?
nothing like a cow. Have you seen this kind of animal before? I don't even understand what's
I
going on
haven't even
here.
seen a cow before. I
How
don't know
have
what
you
you're-
never seen a cow before?
I live in
They're
the
basically
city.
Just the city. There are no cows in the city.
Not in the city I lived in.
That doesn't make any sense. There are cows
I mean,
everywhere.
I probably seen a cow. I never dealt with it. I probably been like, there's an animal and I moved on, you know?
I mean, maybe you should take a nicer look at some of the things around you, Monolith.
Well, I am. Looking at these scales, they look pretty nice to me. They'll be worth a pretty penny if they don't disintegrate like these teeth.
Well, in your on your wormling, you had much better luck with the teeth. Maybe it died second. Maybe it didn't have the same kind of trauma right before death. Who knows? You were successful at working the teeth out. Would you roll a D6? Just tell me what you got.
Okay. I got a 1.
You fully pull one complete fang out, and it is intact, and it stays that way.
Okay.
Right after that, the teeth start to crumble. Like the rest of them start to crumble away. But you did manage to get a fang out of that before they.
Look at
They
that.
completely-
That is
Yeah.
absolutely huge.
That's big. That could have killed us.
Yeah, maybe you could make that into a dagger or something. How cool would that be?
I was gonna sell it, but that's a good idea. I have to ask somebody. I don't know how to make daggers, so
I
I'm gonna be
mean, can
like,
you just sharpen it? What's it feel like? Is it hollow?
I knock on it. Is it hollow?
It sounds like a tooth. I'm not going to make you roll for investigation. It's just very tooth-like.
Like, I don't think it's hollow. But I don't know if it'd be a better dagger than the ones like made of metal.
Yeah, it's not really.
It'd be
you know,
aesthetically
it's like, yeah,
pleasing.
you know, I think it'd fit
I don't
your
know about
character
functional.
a little bit. You know, sometimes it's not about functional.
I'm a fan of functional.
No, I think it'll still work. I just think it would work a little bit better.
Counterpoint.
Okay.
I could sell it and buy a better dagger.
Okay, you know what? I see what you're saying. I see
Yeah.
what you're saying. I can't believe we only got one. Should we check out the? Maybe we can grab some more teeth.
Are we both on the same one?
You were on separate ones. That's why you had
Oh.
separate teeth rolls, and you're
Yeah.
about to do separate scale rolls before you're done.
Okay.
I just love their arguing back and forth.
The dragons are kind of separated, so we're kind of yelling. Like, did your teeth disintegrate?
Yeah,
my-
just
my-
like that. Can you
yeah.
believe? Do you
I
think it
don't-
was the
Gosh.
lightning? I don't even know.
I don't even know, but I got one of them.
That's really cool. All of mine are just dust. I'm a little sad about it.
Have you tasted it?
I wouldn't. It's kind of gross.
Yeah, no, I didn't. I wouldn't either. I was just seeing if you would. That's disgusting.
Wait, what are you tasting?
Tooth dust.
Tooth dust?
I was just saying it to see if she would taste it. And she
Okay.
didn't, so.
Snort it.
She was curious.
Snort it. Quinn runs to the doorway and yells out to Jan, "You should
Metagame.
snort it!"
Metagame. No.
You guys are continuing with what you're doing. What's happening around you isn't affecting you yet, but Valandril is aware that despite his grimace, a few of the less savory people have gathered around. They're not close enough to seem like they're getting in on your territory necessarily, but you have a small group of people that are watching you. Not together, they're not clustered together, they're like milling about your area, and they weren't before.
They're watching the farce going on.
Go ahead and do that medicine check again, the veterinary medicine check,
Veterinary medicine.
and this will be for scales.
Oh, wait.
Jeez.
Is it a D6?
No,
No, it's
20.
a-
Oh, cool. Yeah. 20. Dirty.
6. Dirty.
6?
We switched to dirty scales. And
I'll just go ahead and start with you because it'll be easier. you're successful.
Yeah.
You managed to start getting scales off. The reason dragon scales and wormling scales and any scales from that family are so valuable is because they're so darn hard to remove without damaging them. They're not valuable unless the entire thing is intact, including the little tang at the end. That's what it's called. You have a hard time removing any without damaging the tang at the end. So I'm going to have you roll a d10 to determine how many that you pull out intact. Out of the entire body, which is covered with these, you only managed to get...
That's not a
6.
D10.
Yes, it is.
That's a
Oh,
D8.
you said D8. No, you said D10.
You said D10.
Oh, I am stupid.
You can keep the d8's bigger number if this d10's number is smaller.
6 of the D8.
Then you have 6 complete scales. These are blue. If anybody buying them is
6 blue wormtails.
wormling.
Wormling
Wormling scales. Yep, that's correct.
Worm sad.
Monolith, you've never spent a day on the farm. You might not even know what a cow looks like.
Oh my god.
You start grabbing scales and twisting them off and popping them off and not realizing that the scale integrity is important to the sale of it. You destroy every scale but one.
So I have one good scale.
Either you found a good one or Janet Tammy came over and slipped one to you so you'd find it. I can't tell whether it was a pity scale or not, but you have one blue complete scale as well.
Did you find anything good?
I found one.
One.
Yeah.
I
So
get-
apparently you have to take them off a certain way or else they break.
I hold up all 6 of mine. Yeah, don't you know? I'll
No.
trade you a scale
Yeah.
for a tooth.
Let me get the price range on these things and then I'll get back to you.
All right, we can talk about it later. We should probably go help Quinn. We don't really know where she is, right?
Yeah. Didn't she go in the bar?
Yeah, maybe we should go, I don't know, help
Yeah,
her.
So how's the rowdy situation going on? Are they?
They were pretty quick, and while they were up there, the crowd grew by like 2 or 3 people, but they haven't done anything, and they don't even seem to be. If you were a betting man, you would say they're waiting for them to clear off so they could have whatever's left, almost like the vultures of the town.
So have we decided to go in to?
Hurry up, Valandrill, are you coming or what?
As they're walking in, he's taking steps back. He's keeping eye contact on him, just like, "Don't you do it? Don't you do it?" And once he's finally past the dragons, he just kind of goes, "And go!" And then he turns around and goes into the bar, probably likely watching everybody go in at it.
Yeah.
That's what you see. It looks like a group of people tackling something. They all tackle this already dead wormling and start tearing into it. If you were to stick around and watch, you'd see the carnage and butchery that comes from something like this. It seems to not be as uncommon as you might want it to be.
There might be a
Yes,
few
there.
glances out the window just to see like the perfect moment of gore being spattered across the sand floor.
Oh, and you see that awesome little picture where the scale and hunk of flesh is flinging backwards over the top of somebody's head as they dig down for more stuff.
Picture perfect.
Yeah. Put it on an Instagram, fantasy Instagram.
Oof.
Insta parcel.
And you are inside what, in a lot of ways now, with all the sunlight, seems like a giant tiki hut.
Tiki hut, yeah.
It's where the birds sing and the flowers bloom.
Do I hear them walk in?
Yeah, you know what? There's an uncomfortable silence that you're sitting next to, so you're a little more perceptive to the world around you. And yeah, you hear them come in.
Wait,
Valandrill
wait.
comes in backwards, like step, 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 step. And you
He
kinda-
turned around at one point.
as soon as he was safely inside.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Quinn,
Thanks.
Quinn, look
Yeah.
what I got.
I'm
Here,
gonna-
I got you one of the scales.
Are those? Whoa! Did you pull these off?
Of course I did.
I'd
Mom?
hand some out, but I only got one, so I can't really do that.
I just thought they kind of looked cool. Also, my mama told me that they can be very useful.
Well, how about you hold on to this for right now? Mine's
Okay.
likely to end up broken.
I'll keep them in my bag.
Okay. So
Is this
Hey,
I kind of,
you're the guy that did the thing that killed the dragons, right?
Yeah, I point them towards the golden dragonborn
Yeah.
sitting next to me, like drowning his sorrows in his beer.
Valentrill, now a little happier, a little better, more coming in his. Kind of looks at our Solon Dragonborn friend and goes, "He looks just like me, like 5 hours ago."
Yeah.
Is that what I was like?
You were worse. Gotta be honest. I mean,
Yeah, you were blasting some pretty heavy MCR over there.
You hear that, friendo?
So,
Turn that frown upside down.
what exactly did you do to kill 3 wormlings at once? What was that, and where can I buy it?
Roll for persuasion.
Oh! I actually have,
Yo.
I think I have a proficiency in that or something.
He hopes.
Oh. 22.
Ooh.
Ask him your question one more time.
Okay. I'm like, so,
You don't have to roll again.
okay.
You got your 22.
How did you kill all 3 of those dragons at once? How did you do that?
Powerful magic. I'm a powerful wizard.
Well, I mean,
Dragonborn wizard.
yeah, I mean, not to be offensive, but I gathered that. I'm just asking specifics, like, what's the name of the spell, you know?
You're adorable. This must be one of the you got. Yeah, I can tell. You 4 are all yes.
Hi, it is a pleasure to meet you. My name is Janet Tammy
Yes,
Woodspin.
it's
Second Dragonborn
Quite-
to hit on you.
quite the pleasure. Yeah, thank you. Good.
Wait, the other one didn't hit on me. I just
you
called
hit
him
on it.
attractive.
Yeah, he hit on the other
I was
one.
just like, this attractive guy, what can I say? And then he was like, ho, ho, ho. You're not supposed to hear that. So,
I kind of like brace my elbows on the bar and I take a better look at him and I'm like kind of getting a little bit of a hint of what's going on. And I'm like, so who was she?
whoa.
That was good.
I guess you could roll perception too.
Oh, what's her name? The from the beans, the spilled
Her
beans.
name is Lady Prosperia.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
I really should be like, hey, so how are you and Lady Prosperia? But I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that. Not doing that.
What am I rolling?
Perception.
I'm
No.
sorry, persuasion.
Yeah, that's the one.
You're trying to persuade him.
One
To
to please.
11.
Yeah. Yeah, it was what'd you call her, a lady?
I didn't. I just said who was she?
You said she? Yeah. It was a she, and it was a he.
So we're familiar with the he, aren't we?
Yeah. Yeah, you are. He gave you your pretty map and your pretty clothes and your pretty swords and your farm implements.
This is just kind of how I look.
Well, let me tell you, nothing about this quest is pretty, and we would rather not be in it if it was our choice.
You didn't really get much of a choice.
Sebastian sent you. We all know this.
I wouldn't exactly say sent.
He kicked us out on our butts, if that's what you mean.
Threatened to kill us.
Yeah.
You know, after forcing us into a labor camp.
Where we worked really hard and got nothing out of it. You know, labor camps.
You know, under threat of grave physical harm or straight up death.
Only to be actually under direct physical harm.
And straight up death.
Not yet.
How
So,
many times have you died?
No. Getting knocked out and actually dying or two. Do you see this? Living flesh. Unless I'm not a zombie, am I?
No, you're not a zombie. Don't worry about it.
We digress.
Mm-hmm.
sent by Sebastian.
Yes, sir.
Unfortunately.
Suggested to adventure.
We were
Well,
sent by Sebastian.
Sent by Sebastian.
We
Who
were sent
cares?
by Sebastian.
Semantics not important anyways.
A little bit.
He was my best friend.
Well, that sucks.
Oh no.
He's kind of a prick.
He is. He's a colossal prick.
Yeah.
He is a cactus, not
Prick in
just
our
a prick.
sides.
Yeah, he's all.
No,
pricks.
he's not just a prick. He is an entire cactus. We
Yeah.
understand this.
That's more than one prick.
So
I
what
think
what
that's
happened?
she's
What
getting
went, what went wrong?
She went wrong.
Oh,
at. Oh.
what does that mean? She.
There were three of us.
Right.
We were best friends.
Okay.
We thought we'd save the world together. The three of us. We studied. We worked. And for nothing. We built it. She destroyed it. I spent the rest of my life trying to put it back together. And
Trying to put
now I deal with you. Every time you. More people like you. Sebastian keeps sending you over and over. And you keep dying. And I keep killing some of you. And some of you keep trying to kill me. Oh, and let me guess. I can see it in you. You saw Balazar too, didn't you? I'm getting so sick of this. Let me guess. If you bring me in and the orb, he's got a special vacation and money for you, right?
those were
I'm
his
so
exact
sick
words.
of this.
I'm kind of impressed. Yeah.
Well, I mean, he's probably heard the same speech
All right.
100
Well,
times.
well, we've been dealing with our previous encounters with a little bit of a grain of salt. So how about you tell us your side of the story, and we'll decide on our own what to believe.
Why would I do that? What's the point? What do I get out of this? I've got nothing to win, nothing to lose. That's why I'm sitting here
Isn't that the
drinking myself to
perfect
death.
reason?
Don't you have maybe some freedom to win? Maybe you have some breathing room away from Sebastian,
I could leave right now.
away from adventurers like us who will keep hunting you, like Balazar
I mean,
who will keep hunting
we
you.
just watched him kill 3 dragons without even moving a muscle. He can do whatever the hell he wants. Why are you still here if that's the case?
I can do anything I want except pick up the orb.
Well, I mean, we can pick up the orb.
Yeah,
Why?
we can pick it up for you.
Oh, and I know. Now I'll recruit you, and you can go get the orb for me, and we'll partner up, right?
We don't even know what it is.
We don't even know.
Yeah.
Certainly, you know
No.
what you're going to pick up.
No,
Absolutely not.
We have
kinda
no idea.
to, whether we know what it is or not. If we don't get it, we're in trouble. So
we're gonna die, so
we got it.
we're dead anyway.
Well, this part is new. I thought people knew what they were.
You,
The others
You-
knew.
The others
You-
knew.
you
Hold on a
thought
second.
Sebastian was giving us any information to begin with. Oh no. Oh no.
He doesn't do
Did he
that.
give the others more information than he gave us?
They knew what hell they were going to pick up. They knew the chaos in a case that they were going to pick up.
We just knew that we were picking something up.
Yeah,
What are
we
we
just told it's a
picking up?
weapon.
Yeah, he told us it was a weapon and nothing else. I call an Elvish for the nice bartender and order another drink. I am not drunk enough for this.
She sets the bottle down next to you and a clean metal and glass cup. She sets
How
it down
much
and
money are you
leaves them
spending?
both there.
How much is a drink at this place?
Don't even worry about it.
I want to know, because I don't know how much I have.
At this point, Valangel's just gonna ask directly, what is it?
By itself, one of the most powerful weapons in the land.
That can do.
Because of course it is.
We need a little elaboration.
Well, I think what it can do by itself is irrelevant because Sebastian and the good lady and I used it as part of a much larger weapon. One that I'm embarrassed to say that I helped make.
Well, what was the weapon you were gonna make?
And what happened to make you so embarrassed to use it? It's a weapon. It's meant to be used.
That might be
I-
one of those like
I feel like
Armor soldier.
everybody just looked at her.
Everybody just stops and stares at Quinn. I'm just like, what?
A tool is meant to be used. A weapon.
It could be with this orb.
A
I'm
weapon
guessing.
is a tool.
I'm
a
guessing.
weapon is a form of violence, and I feel like
Yeah.
Oh,
you should
goodness.
only
Didn't you
come
just kill like a bunch of people? We
out of
fucking.
necessity. You think I did it on purpose?
Hey,
you think I
hey,
would walk up
see?
to any of these
But
people?
see, meant
I'm
to
just,
be used.
I'm just saying.
Valley Girl speaks up. Everyone stop!
So the orb is very powerful on its own, and you were gonna put it in another weapon that harnessed that power.
We did.
You did.
We built it. It was
And-
done.
Did you use it?
If we used it, we wouldn't be talking.
So
Oh.
what is it? What was it supposed to do? What did you build it with the intent to do?
I'm not going to get into this, but I'll tell you that had we used it properly, it would have unleashed hell on this earth.
All right. So I'm assuming that that's what Sebastian wants to do with the orb now.
When I realized what we'd done, and I realized what he wanted it for, I knew I couldn't let it go on.
What did you want it for?
At first, I wanted it to protect this land. It was for peace. It was a weapon of peace. I know that might sound.
Ah, walk softly and carry a big stick. I toast him and drink another drink.
Okay. Yes, he was saying.
He wasn't.
Oh.
He was just drinking.
So you built this weapon that apparently could have killed everybody, and
I didn't say kill everybody. You said unleash hell on earth.
I'm assuming that kills everybody.
Not-
I'm just gonna make the assumption.
Semantics.
I think it's a fair assumption. Everyone would be dead, or if not dead, soon to be.
We'd not be having this conversation.
That's twice he said that.
Okay, so I'm gonna do with that. I'm gonna think about it.
Sure.
But what do we do then? Like, we can't give it back to Sebastian and unleash hell on earth, so that we can't have this conversation. We won't be having another conversation or whatever. So I mean, we only got 2 days. These bracelets keep us from him for 2 days. We're
Do they
half
though?
a day in, and we don't know if they actually do. This could all be a lie. This
Right.
orb could actually do nothing, and we could be on some sort of game show.
Excuse you. Do you see how many drinks are in front of this man? Do you understand the gravity of the situation that causes that kind of alcoholism?
I've seen people be
Great
alcoholics for
acting.
nothing. I don't really. So like, what are we supposed to do now, huh? Do we go get the orb and bring it to Sebastian? Do we take you to Balazar? Do we take the orb to Balazar? Do we take the orb to you? Do we take Balazar to you? Do we? What? I'm so confused now.
Calm down before you fry something.
At
Can
this
you
point,
destroy
there are
it?
just too many people. We don't even know who to trust anymore.
For the first time in this whole conversation and interaction, when you finish your tirade about all your questions,
Yeah.
you hear a deep rumbling laugh. It's not laughter that comes out of him, but it's a laughter that's contained in his chest. And he says, I guess you finally understand the problem.
Okay. Well, I mean, he posed an interesting question.
He did. And it's very similar to all the questions you posed.
No
At
answer.
this point, what's the difference?
Can I?
What should we do? What's the right answer? Do you know, young fella? Because I've been here for a long time trying to figure it out, and I haven't figured it out.
Can I do an insight check on this guy?
Inside.
Are you trying to figure out if he's lying or
I
not?
just want to see
That wouldn't be.
like how truthful I guess he's being, or like if he's like.
That'd be a deception roll.
Why
Like
would that?
rolling
Why
against
would I?
deception. He would roll deception. You roll against it.
But insights. I just want to see what this guy's character is. Like, is he
Oh.
actually drunkenly like trying to forget his life, or is he like acting?
You can roll for that.
I
He's
got an
acting
11.
alright. Like a punk buster.
Love it.
It's hard to tell. It seems legitimate. You've maybe you're not one to hang out in taverns very much, Janatami, so it might be hard to tell exactly what a long-term professional alcoholic looks like. But, it
I'd be able to
seems
tell.
legitimate. You're also. We could do one other person that's doing that wants to insight. It would be. I mean, you guys can decide if you want to do
Who
that.
has the
But
highest
we couldn't
insight
go. We couldn't go
modifier?
I
past
mean,
two
I don't
people.
think I have the highest modifier, but
I just have a +1.
I have a +2.
And you've been
That's
sitting
better.
with them the longest.
Yeah, I've been sitting with him for a while.
We'll do that instead of the pluses.
Okay.
I'm not gonna metagame it.
Yeah, not gonna metagame it. I've been here the longest. 16.
You're
I actually.
vodka ant, so it's
Yeah.
pretty easy for you to spot. He's definitely drinking out of the cups, but it was probably one of the times he set it down and it sloshed a little bit, and you recognize that this is more of a perception, but you did perceive that the liquid coming out wasn't a standard alcohol that you're used to. It's not anything that you recognized. It could have been water, and what you're sensing when you talk to him is that he is angry and he is frustrated, but he is not drunk.
Oh no. Oh no.
So
Can I? Okay, I kind of wanted to add like a specific action to that. Can I see if there's any detail about him that I could ask about that would get him to talk a little bit more freely?
Let's talk more about that. What do you mean?
Because I'm poking at him,
Mhm.
and he's got some pretty thick walls up.
Mhm.
He's got some barriers up, and I want to see if there's anything about him that I can use to relate to him to
Oh,
kind
okay.
of like
You're looking for.
break through those barriers just a little bit because I want to know more about him.
Well, let's go ahead and say that you're going to very closely investigate him looking, and you're doing this intentionally because you're trying to make a connection with somebody. You're looking for anything on his person that would help with that.
I'm staring deep into his eyes.
Hold that roll just for a sec. Okay.
Forget it.
Forget it.
Can you please get some dice, guys?
You keep shaming
I'll
the
just
dice.
ask
How
him
do you
what he's
think they
drinking
feel?
instead.
I mean,
Oh,
it doesn't appear that anything's gonna help those guys. They are.
You're shaming the dice. They were the ones that got me 3 arrows into a dragon.
he says, water.
Oh, he's been drinking water out of a cup.
Yeah.
That's why he's not drunk.
Wow, Grant.
Wow.
I was gonna ask that a while ago, but then I just forgot to do that.
That's it.
Instead of dehydrated, he's overhydrated.
He's actually trying to kill himself by overhydration.
That's called drowning, Grant.
No, you can die by drinking too much water.
It's called drowning,
No, it's
Grant.
not
That's-
drowning if
that's-
you're
No,
ingesting it.
That's
No, it
breathing too
actually
much
is
water.
Drowning.
That's when you
Drowning.
breathe too much water.
Yeah, fair.
If you're just drinking it, you can get water poisoning.
It's called
Where's the
No.
science,
Drowning!
Grant?
No, if you pick up a glass of water and you drink it, and then you drink it, and then you drink it, like all day,
It,
3 gallons.
It's
Damn it.
yeah.
He didn't let me cut it. I was
Water
going to say,
poisoning.
Grant, but you already drank it the first time. You haven't gone to get a refill.
Shut up. I hate you.
No, you don't.
Do you know? Do you?
No.
Exactly.
And back to the story.
He's just sitting there with his water.
I like this
Like-
guy. He's drinking water, and I'm a big fan of that.
I'm
So is Mama.
totally over here getting drunk by myself.
I imagine you know that you can't take me to Balazar, that you're not going to waste your time or your lives on that.
Yeah.
Why don't you go and get the orb and die like the rest of them? You don't need to be here with me. Do you need something? Do you want something?
Excuse you, but I don't want to die just yet. I have a husband at home.
Wait, what?
I'm married.
That's in character.
So, here's maybe something for you to do since you're bored and you don't know what. to
Oh,
do.
good. Yeah, what can I do?
How about,
Hmm?
and hear me out.
Oh, yeah, it's...
Good luck.
I love it. How about we kill Sebastian?
How do you
I mean,
exactly
we are clearly not prepared for such a task, but we have a significant deal of journey left to go. So why don't we continue gathering skills and getting better, honing our craft, and then we'd come back to you, see if we could destroy the orb and kill Sebastian. He sounds like
don't you think he would have done that himself? If he
yeah,
could?
but maybe they're equal power. They can't kill each other. Maybe there's some sort of magical barrier.
If they're equal power, what makes you think that we are gonna be able to kill Sebastian?
If they're equal
he just
power,
dropped 3
we can
dragons out of the
distract.
sky.
We can distract Sebastian.
Are
We can do
you-
a little bit of damage, just enough for him to get an opening.
Are you just trying to keep the orb away from Sebastian, or are you trying to destroy it? Or are you trying to use it?
He cares. He's just like,
I used to care. I used to try every day. I used to try several times a day. I tried everything I could to get that orb
For what reason?
for Prosperia. I owe her more than anybody.
Yep.
he
it's
meant the
woman.
word prosperity.
After what I did and the lies I believed and the things that I did, I can understand why I'll never get her forgiveness, but I can at least fix the problem that I've created myself.
Can I ask where she is now?
We could both ask.
I understand.
That got really sad.
Say we come across her in our travels. Would that be of use? Would you have any advice for us? Because I would imagine if you two teamed up, you could take Sebastian. Even though you guys clearly have issues, maybe you could set those aside for a little bit and get rid of the bad guy. Although I'm not even sure who the bad guy really is. But so long as somebody that seems evil dies, we can move on, figure out the next move.
It's an interesting take on things, Monolith.
Thank you. I like having those.
He is adorable.
I know, right? He's already died 3 times.
I haven't died.
No one's died.
I've been unconscious.
Your HP dropped to 0. You died.
That's metagaming.
If you come across Prosperia and you're not,
Okay.
tell her I'm here. Please.
Yeah.
Where is here?
Smog Harbor.
Smog Harbor. Thank you.
I didn't even know that.
Needed a name for this place.
You could just look for a sign.
We never asked.
We
You never
looked for
searched.
signs.
There's not.
He's in his rebellious kid phase.
There's not a lot of buildings, but tell her I'm at the Salty Tears.
Salty Tears.
Oh,
That's a clever name. I like it.
how appropriate.
I thought it was ironic, so I stayed.
So,
At this point,
Ugh.
listen,
Guess we
let's
just-
get back to point. Because you're focusing way too far ahead.
okay.
By the way, this
Immediate.
is... I need to get a Balindril voice, I really do. Hold on, let me just high pitch it a little bit.
Hey guys! Here's what we're gonna do, guys! Hey guys!
Balindril, what the hell happened to your voice?
Oh, I can't listen to that for
Not in
3
this city.
hours.
Let's go to Disneyland. I mean, copyrighted land.
It's all fun and games till you start doing that.
Stream just gets shut down. People kicking the door like, hey, get down. I figure I open up something. I dropped something.
Listen, we need to take this a step at a time. You're thinking Sebastian.
Yeah.
We have one thing that's already in front of us.
Yes.
Never answer my question. Destroying the orb, is it possible?
Yes.
Is it necessary?
Can you do it?
If I can get my hands on it.
Which you can't. You told us that, but we can get our hands on it. So if one of us just held it and you had really good aim.
If you could bring it to me, then I can touch it.
Now,
Oh,
Why
it's the
can't-
area. He can't touch it in, like, there's a barrier around the area.
Yeah, we have
Not
the
the orb
Hearthstone.
itself.
We have the Hearthstone to get it.
Oh, the Hearthstone is to get it. And then
there's only one problem that occurs with us, and I'm not sure if you mentioned we're different than the other travelers so far. I get that.
You're here.
Yeah,
Well,
but,
that's not ominous
just
at all.
statistically speaking, we survived significantly longer than like
Can
the
we,
traps
can we,
that like.
Can we pause this discussion real fast?
Okay.
Because wasn't it my understanding that as soon as we touch the rune thing
To the case.
it'll zap us back to
As soon as, if Monolith gets near it, I'm pretty sure from my understanding, it'll zap us back, so he has to stay back.
Yeah, so
What if we just get rid of the Hearthstone?
I think we can open the case
How?
without the the Hearthstone. I think the Hearthstone is just to transport us, but we can open the case
Or can we just bring
with those runes.
Can we just bring you the case that has the orb in it? Can you get into the case?
How close can you get
Yes.
to it?
How close can you get to it?
Be great to have somebody to kill worms.
Why can you not touch it?
I can't go to the area where it is. I can't get through the protection, and I can't open the case myself.
Okay, so we
Okay.
need
If
to
you
open the
bring
case.
me the orb and open the case, I can destroy that weapon.
Okay, so we should probably bring him the case and open it
with him.
with him.
I have no rewards to offer you.
I don't care.
We just don't want to die.
I'd like to live the rest of my life. Like I got some
Right.
dragon scales and dragon tooth. I might be
Listen.
set. I don't know how
Yeah,
much those
you know,
are worth.
we got some good things to sell.
You can sell some potions.
Except we
actually-
have 2 days until we actually die.
We barely
and there's
have
no
2 days.
guarantee we
Yeah,
get to
about a
survive this
day-
regardless.
day and
We don't know
All
if
right.
any of these people are telling the truth. And the fact that we're actually having this conversation in front of one of the people that's, you know what, guys, I'm very conflicted right now.
This is a very confusing time.
Topped off.
I pour myself another drink and toss it back.
Give him some water.
It's not like there's any turning back and not talking about this in front of him, but you guys do understand that this is the third person asking us for the orb.
He's never asked
He's
a thing
not
of us.
asked-
It's not
He
about
true,
asking,
yeah.
we're offering. Why are we offering?
Because everybody else seems to want to use this thing
He
to
wants to
kill
use-
everybody.
Because
could
out
be
of all
lying.
the bastards we've met so far, this is so far the least bastardist.
Yeah. I mean, listen.
Stick around, kid.
He didn't straight up say, "Give me the orb and I'll give you power and money," which is, pretty shady. He was just like, "I'm depressed because my girlfriend and I broke up." So like, we gotta bring him the orb, and he's gonna destroy
This
it.
kid.
He could totally be lying. We could bring him the orb,
Imagine
and he
traveling
could
with him.
destroy us. He could obliterate all 4 of us with a snap of his fingers, steal the orb, and wipe the planet clean. So why does it matter whether we bring it to him, Sebastian, or anybody else? At least he said he's gonna destroy it.
I guess you're right. I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around all these different options that we have.
I take another drink. This
At
is
this
like
point-
number 5.
It's like the lesser of the evils because we don't know who's telling the truth. But he so far is telling us the best lie that we've heard.
Look,
If it's a lie, of course.
I just want my mom, guys. I don't really want to be here.
Well,
Yeah,
none
well,
of
you
us
might
want
not
be
get to
here.
see her if we don't actually destroy this thing and then kill Sebastian. So
Yeah.
All right, that's okay, I guess.
A 7 foot
All
tall.
of a sudden-
We're like, oh.
all of a sudden, Quinn kind of realizes she's been a little bit harsh and walks over and like wraps Jam in a hug.
There's one
Very
thing
short.
I need to ask you though. The biggest problem posing us is that we have not that much time until your ex-best friend decides to excommunicate us from life.
I know his tricks.
Do you have a way to stop that?
Or
I can't stop blood magic, but if I understand, Balazar already helped you with that. When he made the deal for you to get the orb and me and take us all to him. You remember that?
when he gave us the
Sebastian
bracelets.
is the one that paid Balazar.
Nope. I've made a lot of mistakes in my life, and that's just a different one.
But we got a bracelet that
Yep.
protects us for 2 days.
You're good.
But
Only 2 days.
yeah,
Only 2 days. After that, he's just gonna kill us anyway, won't he?
Yes.
Okay.
Anyone feel like some scheming?
Well, okay. Since you can't get rid of the blood magic, could you speed us up to our location? Could you use some magic to teleport us a distance away?
Well, no.
No.
I can tell you the way.
That works. That's fine. I'm good with that.
So you're going to continue on this fool's errand. You're going to still go and try to get this orb so that you can help Sebastian?
No.
No, we're
No.
gonna
We're gonna
help
bring the orb
you
to you.
destroy it.
I've come to terms with the fact that I'm probably gonna die.
Yeah, I'm feeling that way. Pretty deadly.
And so look, if I'm going out in 2 days, I'm going out knowing that thing no longer exists.
Yeah, I'm fair. That's fair. That's a fair point.
Well, this makes your group a little more unique.
because
was
we're
like-
actually here.
It was the half orc and the genasi and the elves,
Half elf.
half elves.
Half elf. So
I'm
we're like
very
one
proud
whole
of my
elf.
human half. I can actually get drunk off of human liquor.
Could you not get drunk off a human liquor as an elf?
Not as a high elf. You know how long it takes him to get drunk?
I didn't know. I don't know the ins and outs of D&D though.
Oh, honey.
That's interesting.
What and what?
Over a few minute period, he introduces himself as Arjon. You'd heard that name before, and so he verifies the name, and he gives you some very specific directions through the desert. Usually when people try to make this trek through the desert, they go in a straight line. He described that that is almost instant death, and he plotted out a 3-point, 3 different, things you look for.
Check
Markers.
Yeah, there's a better word though.
Landmarks.
Yes, that's the one.
Welcome.
Boom. 3 different landmarks, and as you go on your journey, if you use those as your direction points for 3 different legs of your journey, you should make it bypassing the most deadly parts of the journey.
Cool.
And when we get back on Friday, you can decide if you're going to take that journey or not.
Okay.
All right.
Absolutely. What else
So-
are we gonna do?
Everybody out there in Streamland, thanks for staying here for the wormling killing, and we'll be back in 7 days to see if we can finally get to that pesky orb. Have a great
Yeah.
week, and bye-bye.